Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. Laughing over there already. Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, how you doing, Skip?
You know, I feel good about your chances today on the show. I give you a slim shot at winning one debate today.
No,
I do, just
Vegas,
a slim shot.
Vegas have me favored to win all the debates.
Really?
Yeah, I just checked the odds this morning before I came on there. Yep.
That's how they build new casinos in Vegas, if people are betting on you.
There you
Right?
go.
Yeah.
I like that. Good stuff. We have a busy show today, guys. What does Shannon think about Skip's Cowboys being favored to win? Yes, I said win the NFC East now. And as Patrick Mahomes already wrapped up his second MVP because of what we're seeing. But first, we are going to start with Odell Beckham Jr. and the Browns. Odell threw a party in his return to MetLife Stadium. The Browns' top receiver pulled in 6 catches for 161 yards, including an 89-yard touchdown and another one of his signature one-handed catches. Of course, Odell did it in his own style. Before the game, he wore another Xiaomi designer watch that is reportedly valued at over $2 million. That is insane. And in the first quarter, OBJ was told he would have to remove his tinted visor by officials and missed a critical third down play in the red zone. Busy night for the guy. Shannon, how far can the Browns go with Odell?
Skip, I haven't been very impressed with the Browns thus far. One of the reasons I haven't been impressed is because they make far too many mistakes. They had another 8 penalties last night. Remember, they opened the season with 18. So now if you combine that over the 2 games, they're averaging 13 penalties for 133 yards a game.
Yep.
And the defensive ends, Myles Garrett, 2 roughing the passer, roughing the passer penalties, offsides again. Those are the type of plays. Because ask Kansas City how they feel had D Ford just backed up another foot. That's the winning sometimes.
You're still hanging on to that.
No, I'm just saying.
All right.
That's sometimes, Skip, that's the difference between winning and losing a ball game.
At that
Penalties
level,
yes, at the most, because all these teams for the most part are talented, although you'd find that hard-pressed watching the Jets play or watching Miami play.
That is true. I would agree.
Like, they actually have talent.
Yep.
They do. Skip, look, they did what they were supposed to do last night. They beat a team that's battered. Okay, the starting quarterback, Barkley, he's out with mono. The backup comes in, Trevor Siemian. He gets knocked out early. Now you're playing with Luke Falk, a guy that was cut by the Titans last year. He's on their roster, and he's thrust all of a sudden into it. And when you look at this team, Skip, Le'Veon Bell, Lord, he's like, I don't know what I got myself into. He's giving it all he can. He has to spin. And even he couldn't even have his customary running style last night, Skip, because he got to get the ball and go right now. He can't be patient like he was in Pittsburgh because the offensive line for the Jets aren't very good. The question, how far can Cleveland go? I'm not sure that they can go the distance, Skip. I might have overvalued them because I thought, like everybody, Baker's going to take the next step. He didn't play particularly well last night, Skip. He missed some throws last night. He got it. Njoku blew up. If I'm in Njoku, we're going to have a long discussion about you throwing me these med ball. They call those medicine ball because the medic is going to come see you when you get one of those thrown in your direction. Skip.
Oof, bad.
The Steelers, I believe the Steelers are out of the mix. But the Ravens in that division, I've only been impressed really with 2 teams in the AFC thus far, Kansas City and New England, and we know what New England represents. They're always going to be there at the end because of their quarterback, their head coach, and seemingly they play better as the season progresses. And what we've seen thus far is that they're playing really well in September, which is a far cry from what we normally see from New England. Kansas City, we know what Mahomes boy is. He's averaging over 400. We're going to talk about him a little later, Skip.
Well, you know, I'm not.
Oh,
sure.
you don't see.
We will talk about this later.
You wish your quarterback could do that. But that's not the hit on that.
My quarterback plays in Foxborough.
No, your quarterback plays in Dallas. Your quarterback plays in Dallas. Skip, with Odell, it's always something. If it's not one thing, it's another. Now, I will agree with this, and I don't agree with Odell on much. The visor is unacceptable because it's hard for me to believe because you have what you call, Skip, they have NFL personnel, and they normally tell you, when I was in the league, Skip, Shannon, you're going to have to pull your socks up. Shannon, you're going to have to tuck that jersey in. Shannon, that towel's too long. So you have people there. Odell didn't all of a sudden on second down go change that visor and then try to come back in on third down. They knew he had that to start the game. So why wouldn't you tell him before the game even started, Odell, you can't play in that dark tent? I think now since they officially signed a deal with Oakley, if I'm not mistaken, right before the season, you must have that amber tent. Kind of like if you watch Kyler Murray, he has what looked like an amber tent, not that 5.
But it's supposed to be more clear.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
They don't have like my windows on my truck. I got that 5%.
Do you really?
Yeah. Oh, I was supposed. There's 35%. My bad. 35%.
I don't think you're allowed to have that.
No, you're not. It's 35. I misspoke. 35% team.
Okay.
So TMZ can't see who's driving?
No, they can't. They can't see me. Well, I don't go anywhere unless they're gonna pass my house. Skip, Odell he's a special talent. He possesses the ability to take any play to the distance. He can run routes and, again, making spectacular catches. But how far can they go? Can they make the playoffs? Yes, but I don't believe they can go the distance. And I think that's the question is, can they go all the way to the Super Bowl? No, I do not believe they can represent the AFC.
Ever to the Super Bowl?
Ever?
Odell? Yeah.
Ever is a long time. Mahomes ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
Mahomes ain't going nowhere.
All right. So it's interesting, we're only 2 games in, and my partner across the table, Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe, is down on the Browns. But you were bullish on the Browns going in.
Well, Skip, I didn't think they're going to make these kinds of mistakes. Skip, 13 penalties a game? That's 70s and 80s Raider-esque makes those kinds of mistakes per game. I mean, you have started to see 18 penalties in one game.
Your head coach is Freddie Kitchens. Never been a head coach before, never been a coordinator until the back half of last season. And now he's the head coach and the play caller from the sideline.
Yeah.
That's a lot of responsibility. Yeah. And he is becoming the ultimate players coach. He just wants everybody to be happy and nobody to play with much discipline, it appears, so far. Right?
Right.
So, obviously, the Browns caught a huge break yesterday when it was announced that Ben Roethlisberger is gone for the year.
Yes.
That suddenly opened up that division.
Right.
Yeah.
And Andrew Luck earlier in the year from Indy.
And
that
then,
was a playoff spot.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good point. And then they caught a significant break last night when they caught the undermanned, overmatched Jets without Sam Darnold and without 2 of their best defensive players. There's no C.J. Mosley.
Yeah.
There's no Quinnen Williams. So all of a sudden, you're down. Then you go to your third-string quarterback. I can't read anything into what I saw last night.
No.
Was I entertained by Odell? I was, because he remains the most entertaining player in the whole National Football League as far as
Safe.
On and off the field entertainment value. I'm talking about he's the ultimate diva act. It's always something with him on the sidelines, in the huddle, somewhere else, like that doesn't directly impact the actual football.
Right.
But he saved a dud of a game last night with 2 Odell plays.
Right.
Another hood ornament catch. Voila.
Yep.
Right?
It's pretty.
It was pretty, and it was
playing
fun
in
to
that
watch.
stadium.
Huh?
He liked
And he
playing in that
went
stadium.
home and he showed them up, right?
Yep.
And then he caught them napping, and he just split the zone. And if you let him get off to the races, he can run 89 yards.
Yeah.
And he looked like he was flying about right?
A couple of years ago, didn't he do something like that? He caught a slant pass against the Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken. You remember that Sunday night game, Skip?
That was in the slush.
No,
Remember,
no.
it had
Did he do
snowed
it?
all day.
Did he do
I
it?
think it was the only score in the game. Am I right?
Did he
It
outright-
was in the slush.
I don't know.
And my DBs couldn't get their footing. And all
But
of a sudden,
somehow he
it's off
got
the
his
races.
footing.
Okay, so he makes 2 plays last night
Yes.
that break the game open, albeit against an opponent that you and I have little to no respect for at this point in the season, right?
Sorry, Whit.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's not good.
And
not
then
good.
we get to the Ravens. You're more bullish still on the Ravens than
am.
I am. And there was an interesting quote today in The Athletic from Mike Sando's piece, quoting a talent evaluator, a personnel director, saying he's still not sold basically on the Ravens. He thinks they're going to get exposed within the first 4 games. And I will say this about the Ravens. They have played the easiest first two games in the league, because when you go at Miami and then Arizona at home, I mean, seriously, has anybody played an easier first 2 than those 2?
Cowboys.
Oh, stop
Giants
it.
come to your building.
Oh,
Eli
wait.
about to go to the Pine in Case Keenum. Now.
So you're saying Miami and Arizona are better than the Giants and the Redskins, really? And that's the Redskins at the Redskins.
Arizona might be both
Really?
of them. Right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, Kyler
Like
better than
AC.
Case Keenum.
I think Well, I'll give you that.
And
Case
Eli.
Keenum-
And Eli right
but
now.
Kyler's going to be a
at this
star.
point-
I don't know what he's going to be. I'm talking about right now.
Well, all he did was throw for 300 plus in his first 2 games.
And came through my drive-through. You know I opened a drive-through?
You
can
did?
drive through and get them L's now. You ain't got to come inside. Because I want to get you on your way because there's a lot of people coming to get the L's.
So we're about to see what happens when somebody has to play Baltimore.
Baltimore goes to KC.
KC. Baltimore
yeah.
goes to KC, right? Let's see what happens there.
Skip,
Okay?
that's my homeboy. He going to light a lot of people up. Watch what he does when he go to Foxborough. He going to light them up.
And back to the question, watch what happens this Sunday when the Rams visit the Browns.
Right. You'll
Okay?
learn a lot more
Now
about
we
it.
will
Sunday night.
litmus test.
Yes.
Now we will check your oil. Now
Right.
will you see what you're really made of?
Correct.
And I don't think they're made of quite the right stuff. I think they will battle the Ravens all year in this division. It could be like a 9-7, 9-7 kind of
Yes.
finish between
Yes.
those two teams. I root for the Browns only because I root for Baker Mayfield. And he's just fun to watch. I love to watch him
Yeah.
play quarterback, but I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's been a little shaky so far.
Yeah.
They got routed and embarrassed and humiliated at home in their opener 43-13 by the Tennessee Titans, who went home and immediately lost to the Indianapolis Colts without Andrew Luck, right?
Yep.
So I go back to what am I seeing from Baker Mayfield so far? As much as I love him,
Okay.
his QBR so far have been a 27 against the Tennessee Titans, that scale of 0 to 100, and last night a 55, which is just barely above average. He threw for 325 yards, but he got to tack on 89 pretty easy ones thanks to Odell just splitting the zone.
Right.
Fair.
I am seeing Baker struggle in ways I haven't seen him struggle in all the years I've watched him dating back to Texas Tech. Why is he struggling? Why did he struggle so mightily in the third dress rehearsal preseason game? Why did he struggle against Tennessee? And why was he forcing a lot of throws last night? He was a little off target last night, right?
Yes.
Why? Odell is why. Because Odell is a whole new dynamic for him where he is trying to keep Odell happy. He loves Odell.
Right.
They socialize. They're close friends off the
His
field.
interception was because of Odell, because he had a guy underneath
did? I
that was
agree.
wide open,
Thank
and he
you.
bypassed him trying to force it
Trying to
Odell.
force one to Odell. So I'm seeing Baker Mayfield play out of sync, out of rhythm, out of sorts because he's getting to Odell conscious. And I don't blame him because you better keep that guy happy.
Right. Well, what about old Jarvis?
What about him?
You know, and I'm not talking about the Iron Man Jarvis. I'm talking about Jarvis Landry.
I agree.
Hey, 3 catches for 25 yards. Skip, I ain't be happy with that.
Nope.
That's not what I signed up
Okay.
for.
So I'm not loving where they're heading with Odell. And then we get to what else did we see from Odell? Okay, so you're defending him a little bit on the
Yes,
okay.
because Skip, I believe they could have made. They knew he. I mean, come on. They saw the man warming up.
I'm pretty sure it is against the rule.
Right.
The rule is we sold to Oakley.
Right.
Okay, so
Awesome.
the rule says you can't have a
So
tinted.
Odell should have known that beforehand.
Okay, but he's saying others get away with it, and maybe they get away with it because they're off radar. Maybe it's an offensive lineman, or I don't know. Maybe it's somebody that you're not really focusing
Right.
on. Maybe it's not the superstar wide receiver.
Right.
Okay, so to me, I still have an issue because even though it took them a while to call him on it, when they did call him on it, he couldn't finish the drive that he started with the hood ornament catch.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Okay, that's just so vintage Odell.
Oh, yeah, Odell, you know you can't have that
Okay.
mirror.
Okay.
I mean, they allow those mirrors like that on the left. Now, I know he played with a dark one in New York,
Yep.
but I don't remember him having a mirrored one like that.
Okay.
You gotta know better, right? I mean, he's all about the attention. He knows
He's
we're all
all
watching
about
because of the watches.
watch me literally with the watch
Right.
me, and now watch me with the
knows.
gold tinted visor. And then how about the play that happened at the end of the half? Baker forces one into the end zone into scary doubled coverage.
Right.
The safety comes over and easily knocks the ball down.
Right.
If we could see this play. Odell falls, not too dangerously. He just kind of falls on his back in the end zone. And look at this. What's wrong, Odell? What are you doing?
He cramping?
I don't think he's cramping.
He said he was
If you're cramping, you couldn't get up. But he trots to the training staff, then he runs to the locker room. You just want to go 20 seconds early to the locker room before the half?
I mean, y'all need to see me.
Okay.
We on Monday Night Football.
Isn't this Monday Night Football? Wasn't that a Monday night move by Odell?
I would give him the benefit of the doubt. He said he was cramping, and Skip, I'm not going to,
He said on ESPN right after the game,
Post-game.
I'm cramping. Did you see any indication of cramping?
Yeah.
You've cramped. I know I've cramped in a bunch of marathons
Yeah,
before.
LBJ kept cramp.
Hey, when you cramp, you cramp. You go down.
Yeah.
It feels like you're going to die. Some people get cramps in the middle of the night in bed.
I do, those leg cramps.
And if,
Horrible.
if it gets stuck, you feel like you're going to die.
Yeah.
Like I can't
worst.
live through
you're
this,
right.
right?
It's horrible.
Well, don't tell me you're cramping when you're trotting back to the trainers. You're just grandstanding. You're showboating. You're Odelling. Am I right?
Is that a new thing,
You're
Odelling?
Odelling. So he can't help himself.
Odelling.
He has to be the center of attention. And then what was the big ad in Times Square? New team, who dis?
Yeah.
Well, it's for Pedialyte, and he's what is he? He's a paid spokesman.
Well,
for
he should have
Pedialyte.
drunk some
He's-
Pedialyte. That's good for cramp.
Cramping, right?
He's a brand advisor and a creative director for Pedialyte. Okay, you need to drink some
No,
Pedialyte
I
for
always
cramps.
find that weird though. Pedialyte it's for babies.
It was
So why
supposed to
is
be,
it so
but now
effective
it's
for
for if
athletes?
you have an upset stomach,
Stomach.
or if you're
Electrolytes.
hungover, or if you're
Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, I thought,
I have no
I
experience.
thought you used Pedialyte.
No, I used to get out there to get in the sauna.
Huh?
Yeah, sweat it out.
Really? It's the Pedialyte is the antidote to Henny, right?
it ain't.
Yeah, it is.
As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about putting some Pedialyte in my Henny.
Are you?
Yeah,
really?
so make sure I don't get dehydrated
That
while I'm
could be
drinking that
tasty.
thing.
That could be-
Yeah.
I don't know.
I kind of like Pedialyte actually. It tastes pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, I've had it when I got real sick.
Where you were sick from? Back in your young days when you were on the bottle.
No young days
I
for
don't
me.
think so.
No.
So you think they can make the playoffs?
Again, I think they're going to finish. I said this going in 9-7.
Okay.
Is that good enough to squeeze in as a wild card? Is it good enough to tie the Ravens at 9-7 and see who wins the two division battles
Right.
between these two? I just can't see this team being better than 9-7.
Right.
And now I'm going to go all the way to this is how low the ceiling is for Odell's Browns. Help me out here. I thought about this. When's the last time? When have we ever seen a diva wide receiver lead a team to a Super Bowl championship?
Oh, my goodness.
It just doesn't happen. And I'll give you two instances. If you go way back, obviously people say, what about Jerry Rice? Not a diva receiver.
Maybe T.O. back
Okay.
in when Philly went?
Okay? He didn't play a single playoff game, but
Right.
they did make it to
Right.
the Super Bowl, and then he played in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
T.O. actually launched this diva generation to me because even our man Michael Irvin, was he a diva? Trust
No.
me, I covered him. He was not a diva.
No.
He was the leader of that football team that won 3 and should have won 4 championships. Okay, so then we come up to Keyshawn did break through and win one with John Gruden
Right.
in that hellacious great defense.
Yeah, that was a defense-led team.
And again, Keyshawn was on his best behavior then because he had sort of flamed out with the Jets.
Right.
He'd written his book.
Right.
Just
throw me the
throw
damn
me
ball.
the damn ball. And by the time he got to Gruden, who will not suffer any nonsense from anybody,
Yeah,
right?
you don't want anybody to be bigger than him.
Nope, he does not. So what happened? They broke through. He was their leading receiver, but he was no diva at
Right.
that point. And then the next year, John Gruden sent him home.
Yep.
Okay, when he started to act out, act up.
Yep.
Okay, and then Plaxico, was he a diva in 2007? To me, no. He did have his big gun incident that we're all aware of, but it came 2 years after 07.
Right.
And he was a star of that team, but he was a quiet star. I know Plax very well.
Yeah.
He's not. He doesn't have diva
No, he
spilling out
he
of
might
him.
have became a little more divish once he won the Super Bowl, but that was another defensive-led football
Okay,
team
all
with
right.
the defensive line and things of that nature. Skip, it's just, for me, when I look at it, like I said, I think I undervalued Baltimore because I didn't realize that Lamar Jackson was going to be able to throw the ball this good, this quickly. I thought it would be a gradual process, but I think they put him in situations where he can succeed.
Yep.
He's done an unbelievable job. Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, Snead. He's doing a great job of distributing the football. But his ability to get out of harm's way with his legs is always going to be, because if you blitz him, Skip, and you run past him and he jumps out of the window and takes off, it's going to be 20 yards before you get him down. And are you willing to run the risk? And if you notice, people are blitzing Kyler a lot because right now Kyler's like, I don't want to run, but eventually that fight or flight is going to have to take place. He's going to say, look, I just got to get out of here. I'm just not going to just go down easily. I figure if I can get through the first wave, I might can hit something big. But going back to Cleveland, I'm going to say right now I'm leaning a little bit towards Baltimore than I am Cleveland because I trust John Harbaugh more than I trust Freddie K.
Okay. All right. I'll buy that. They probably deserve a slight edge. Again, I'm clinging to Baker just because I love him, and so I'm disqualifying myself because I'm biased to Baker. And that's why I'm rooting for them just to eke into the backside of the playoffs because at least they could make the playoffs entertaining with Odell. But what did we see with the Giants? He was there 5 years. They made it to one playoff game, before which he took his group of receivers to South Beach to get ready for a game on the frozen tundra in January, right?
Yep.
And it was the all-time diva move. It was the all-time disrespect move to your team's playoff ability to prepare for a game against Aaron Rodgers up in Green Bay.
Right.
And they stunk it up because on the opening drive, third down, and I think it was 3rd and 6 or so.
You dropped the crucial.
Hit him right in the hands.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Skip. And you open yourself up. You subject yourself to criticism when you do things like what he did. Had Odell gone to Miami, played well, they win the game. I don't know if we're having this, but when you lose, like a la Tony Romo and Jason Witten going to Cabo during the bye week and losing to the Giants.
No, that's a touche.
Yeah,
I would agree.
You open yourself up to
do.
criticism. So if you don't want the criticism, don't put yourself in the line of fire to receive said criticism.
Yep.
Do the thing, like if you lose the game, like, hey, they just lost the game. But everybody's like, Odell, well, the whole team didn't go down to Miami. Nobody played particularly well, led by Odell because his was in the forefront. Not only did he drop that key third down, he dropped a touchdown.
In the back of the end zone.
Right,
He sure
and,
did.
and he dropped several passes. But the defense gave up 35.
They did, and then the post-game story was he knocked a hole in it was the outer locker room wall as they were going in.
What you mad for?
Yeah.
You didn't play good.
Yeah.
It's dramatic.
But it did take the focus off Odell's performance because everybody was writing, talking, reporting about, he knocked a hole in the wall. And it's still everybody's showing the hole. That he took his helmet and just bashed the wall in.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Odell. Can you win with that? You can't win big. That's a low ceiling with Odell. And again, I don't blame John Dorsey for trying this. I don't blame all of our viewers who love to watch Odell because I love to watch Odell.
Oh, he box office.
Oh, is he box office? He is must-see TV because he's going to do something for the cameras. He's going to act out. He's going to kick, either propose to the kicking net or kick it or he's
dance in the end zone. And Skip, and during the game, for the most part, he will make a play that's like, wow, did you see that catch Odell made? Did you see that catch and run Odell just did?
It was something.
He has that ability on a given play.
He's worth the price of admission to me just to watch his pregame warm-up because it's Steph Curry-esque.
So now everybody's going to come to pregame to see what type of watch he got on.
Yeah.
I don't know how he topped this Richard Mille.
10 made. Did you see that?
Yeah.
10 in the world of this version.
Jenny's got a sore throat today because she's got this meal stuck in her throat. Richard.
Just fun to say.
Yeah.
The more I say it, maybe they'll throw me a watch, just to promote during the show.
Whoa. Hold on.
Why not?
It's a three.
I'm the one saying
it's a triumvirate
correctly.
over here. Ain't no,
we can all get a feel.
I'm good. I'm good with my Seiko.
Oh, come on, man. Look here.
It's good
You
luck.
would not turn
It's
down
good
a
luck.
Richard Mille.
I wouldn't wear it.
You will wear that.
I would not wear it on the air.
You would wear that one on
You
the
want
air.
to talk about the ultimate jinx? I'm wearing an Odell watch. We would sing.
That ain't Odell watch.
That is actually a good point.
They
Maybe
get you
we
what the
should
Odell
stay
doesn't
away.
have yet.
We could figure it out and see. Okay, our odds makers overreacting to the Cowboys 2-0 start. Guessing Skip doesn't think so. Don't forget you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports channel on SiriusXM. We'll be right back.
No mercy.
Are you ready for what's ahead? You can't always predict the future, but you can game plan for it. Generations of families and businesses have harnessed the power of Pacific to help them reach their unique goals. Whether you need to save enough money to meet your needs, ensure your family is protected, or make sure you don't run out of money, Pacific Life has a variety of financial solutions that can help. Pacific Life counts more than half of the 100 largest U.S. companies as its clients and has been named one of the 2019 World's Most Ethical Companies by the Ethisphere Institute, protecting what matters most to people for 150 years and counting. That's the power of Pacific. Ask a financial professional about how Pacific Life can help you game plan for your future, or visit www.pacificlife.com.
No mercy.
SI.com released details of new allegations of sexual misconduct by Antonio Brown. Through his lawyer, Brown has since denied the allegations, and according to reports, Brown's initial accuser, who filed a civil lawsuit against the receiver, met with NFL investigators yesterday. The league has yet to release any official statement on the matter, and when asked about how he was handling the AB situation, Bill Belichick said he was just focused on game planning for the Jets. So, Shannon, do you think AB will miss any games this season?
I do. Skip, I believe what's going to happen, they sat down with the woman yesterday that filed the suit. What's going to be very interesting, are they going to take this investigation a step further and sit down the woman behind the SI article? Because if they sit down with her, now this could possibly show a pattern of behavior.
Yep.
And that's where they can come in with the conduct detrimental to the league. See, Skip, some people are willing to make the leap, says, okay, he acted a you-know-what in Pittsburgh, he acted a you-know-what in Oakland, so what the lady that filed a lawsuit, this must be true. I think it's an easier jump with the lady that filed the lawsuit and the lady from the SI story. I think those things maybe line up a little more than, say, his behavior in Pittsburgh and in Oakland. Not to say he did or he didn't. Skip, I just believe that when the NFL comes in, look, the personal conduct, the standard could be as high or as low as they deem it.
Yep.
In Article 46, the commissioner says it does not have to be a legal charge for me to take action. They've given him dictatorial powers.
In point of order, Zeke was not charged at all. He was actually cleared by an investigation by the Fort Lauderdale police and then the Columbus, Ohio police. Go ahead.
And I think in the court of public opinion, although some might have said, no, Zeke didn't do this, but when they saw him pull the lady's top down, they said, okay, now this is a pattern of behavior.
Okay, I got it.
And I believe this is what the NFL, now the NFL, I believe the NFL, because that's what you're doing in an investigation, Skip. You just don't, okay, he said this, she said that, or any investigation, not just the NFL, you talk to other people. Did anybody see anything, or if this happened before? And if it's something like this has happened before, please come forward. Okay, people start to come forward, and now it shows a pattern of behavior that AB may have engaged in. The NFL is not going to look favorable upon this. I believe this is where they take the action. I do believe they are going to sit down with this lady from the SI story. And if she tells the NFL what was reported in that SI article, it's going to be very damaging for Antonio Brown. Now, it's not to say this happened, but I'm saying she comes off as very, very convincing the way she explains what transpired.
Now, she was not named. She did so anonymously.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, she did herself.
So I think this is where a lot of his problems is going to lie, Skip. And at worst case, even some of AB's staunchest supporters is going to find it hard and harder to stand behind him when these allegations keep coming out.
I am with you. I find it hard to believe that the NFL won't take some kind of action as almost a preemptive strike to a potential jury trial on the civil suit that has been filed against AB. And what they have to work with is now, just over the last year, just the last 1 year, a history and a pattern of bad behavior on many fronts, unpaid debts, claims against him for money owed by a chef at the Pro Bowl. Right? The incident in which he was accused of throwing the furniture off a 14th floor balcony, an ottoman that endangered the life of a 1.5-year-old child near the swimming pool. It's one that the speed, 103 mile an hour speeding ticket when he was still in Pittsburgh. And then, if nothing else, his misbehavior in Oakland in his brief stint there, which culminated in him going after the new GM Mike Mayock on the field, on the practice field, in front of the whole football team, reportedly called him a cracker and wanted to fight him and had to be restrained from throwing a punch at him. Okay, just on the surface of that alone, Roger Goodell could say that's conduct unbecoming.
Absolutely.
And
Well, you would have thought in that situation the Raiders would have suspended him, but what they did is that they fined him, which kicked in the conduct detrimental to the team, which
true.
also voided the guaranteed money.
Oh, yeah.
That is true.
So they say, look, what we're going to do is we're going to take this guaranteed money, but we still want you to play for us.
Okay. So the SI portion of this article about the woman that we just talked about says the woman is not pursuing charges or remuneration, though she was bothered by his behavior. She said that friends with whom she had shared details of this incident alerted her to the federal lawsuit Taylor filed against Brown last week, which seemed to slightly open the door that maybe she would pursue
Right.
some sort of legal action
Right.
against him, maybe a civil suit, or join the civil suit, or
Okay.
who knows what could happen. But my point is, it's not getting better, it's getting worse.
Worse, correct.
And if you're, again, the National Football League, your worst nightmare would be sitting on your hands, doing nothing, no statements, don't even acknowledge what has happened.
Oh, this is
You
not
did-
going away.
Okay, but you did obviously reportedly interview the woman who filed the civil suit
Yeah, Mr.
yesterday.
Brittany Taylor. That's the name.
Brittany Taylor. Yesterday you interviewed her. Are you going to interview AB sometime soon?
Yes.
Next few days? I would hope so.
It would have to be today, Skip, because Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is work days. I don't know if they play at home or they play away.
Unless Commissioner Goodell deems this more important than practice,
Yeah.
right? I need to see you on Thursday in New York or whatever,
Yes.
right? So to me, the worst nightmare is if you just sit still and let this play out and hope it sort of goes away, it could just go all the way to a jury trial. And if it does, and the jury, and the burden of proof in a civil case is much lower than in a criminal case, but if they found in favor of Brittany Taylor, the NFL would look all-time worse.
Yes.
Right? Because you would look even worse to me than you did in how slowly you reacted to the video of Ray Rice.
Well, Skip, at least didn't they before they had suspended Ray for 2 games before the video came out.
right. I think
And once the video came out, he was about to get off his suspension.
Yep.
And that's when they suspended him indefinitely. Well, and he filed a motion and said, hold on, I've already served the 2 games. The video
good point.
the video didn't show new evidence. All it did was highlight old evidence. And he went and he won the trial. He went before, I think, Rice was I forget the judge's name.
Yep.
But Barbara, I think her first name was Barbara.
Yep.
But he went before her, and she's like, no, you can't do this. He's already served the suspension. And you're going to suspend him on top when he didn't create a new act?
Okay.
The thing is, Skip, now, okay, you interviewed Ms. Taylor yesterday. Like I said, Skip, I don't believe they will end up. The NFL normally doesn't work like this, Skip. They don't normally interfere with a work day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Normally it's Tuesday on your day off, gives you an opportunity to get to and get from and get back to work the next day. But if they interview this woman, the question is, how credible is she going to come off as? Now, Kia Roberts that interviewed the Zeke accuser, she was not credible at all. And they still made the leap.
They did.
If she comes off as credible, there's no telling what they're going to do. They might suspend him for the rest of the year.
They might. And again, it's a classic he said, she said. And to be fair to Antonio, he refused to settle this case.
Right.
And the negotiations reportedly went on for several months.
Right.
And he continues to say it was a consensual relationship.
Right.
And there have been videos we've seen on the internet of them together.
Right.
And you can conclude what you want from that. So again, he's saying consensual, she's saying sexual assault and rape, and it'd be a hard call for the NFL to try to come to a conclusion even before this becomes a grand jury trial.
Right.
Right?
And I think the thing is that if the emails or the text messages, what can we authenticate?
Yes.
But Skip, I believe his bigger problem coming down the line is this lady in this article. Because I don't believe she knew that there was a federal lawsuit that was already filed against her, or that was going to be filed before she said what she said. So you can't say, well, she's just trying to jump on the gravy train now. Because at this present time, as you mentioned, she's not a part of any lawsuit or had no, I guess the thing is she wasn't thinking or isn't thinking at this time. So that's the problem that he's going to run into. She's downstairs, she's painting, and it's reported she's saying that he came behind her with a hand towel over his privates naked.
Okay, and she said she just ignored him because she said, unfortunately, I've been hit on by so many men. I just ignore it.
Right. I'm here to do a job.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mess up my money.
Well, and it was it was a big deal for her.
Right.
To
It was.
have the attention of Antonio liking her work.
Right.
And that would have possibly that could have changed her career.
Right.
Could have.
Right.
And then her story is the next day, he cut off all communication with her, and she left the first painting that he sort of fell in love with, the
Right.
first one, and she left it there and has yet been able to
Retrieve
that.
Right.
And it was, she said, worth $700. So,
Right. Let the lady get a lady $700 for the painting, or let the lady get a painting back, AB.
Okay.
I mean, and the lady is smart. She's like, I'm here to do a job. I'm not finna get in a relationship with you because you get mad, now I don't get paid. It's like a trainer. I never understood a trainer that would mess with a client. I'm not messing up my money because you get mad. Guess what, Skip? You not gonna pay me, or you gonna expect me to train you for free.
That's true.
So the lady's like, I'm not messing up my money. I'm here to do a job.
Yeah.
I'm gonna paint this on the wall or whatever, a mural or a painting or whatever it was, Skip. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna get my money and I'm gonna leave. Now,
Right.
Sad part is you should never even have to think about that
No.
being an issue if you are there to work. And
Right.
so many women deal with this every single day.
Every single
Right.
day.
So it's
I
hard to
agree.
read about this and not think that he is just not conscious about his actions.
Okay. So what is the NFL most conscious of? It's image. This
What's
is the
going on now, Skip?
100th anniversary of the National Football League, and everybody wants to be happy and celebrate and embrace the heritage of this league. Antonio's ironic slogan is business is booming. And right now he has become bad for business
Yes.
in the National Football League. I think they just look at him as he's tarnishing their celebration.
Yes.
And it's, again, they're not saying we think that you did what you're accused of by Brittany Taylor.
Right.
They're just saying all of this added up is bad for business, bad for our image, right? That's why I say there's a suspension coming, maybe to the exempt list, even though on the surface it requires a criminal charge. But again, Article 46, I think the language of even the exempt list is if you, I'm just going to paraphrase it, but if you do anything that is conduct unbecoming, you
Right.
can also wind up
Right.
on the exempt list.
Because at the time, Ray Rice was not criminally charged.
No? Okay. So,
Conduct unbecoming, that's the word. Well,
Yeah.
that can mean a lot of things.
yeah. So here we go. But I don't think he's going to be able to play
The entire season.
the entire season.
I agree.
No mercy.
According to Fox Bet, Dallas is now the favorite to win the division with 5-6 odds, while the Eagles are right behind at 1-1. The Cowboys have won both of their games, while the Eagles are 1-1 and dealing with several injuries to starters. So, Shannon, do you agree with the Cowboys jumping the Eagles?
No. Heck no.
Oh, you're trying to convince yourself on
Heck
the air?
no. H-E crooked double L no.
You were sort of gave a little tepid no, and then you started thinking no.
No.
Okay.
The schedule makers have been very, very good to the Cowboys, Skip. You get the Giants, you get Washington, and now you get Miami, who got beat 59-7, 43-0 in the first 2 weeks. And now they
You
come
can only play who you play.
It's my turn to talk. Ain't nobody ask you anything. And now the odds makers got them 20-point favorites. 23 tubs.
Okay.
So no, it's early, Skip Bayless. Carson Wentz has been unbelievable. Yes, I believe he's taken a lot of punishment. And D-Jack has a groin. Alshon has a calf. Yes, we have some. Malik Jackson is out. Tim Jernigan broke his foot.
Yep.
But that's not going to require surgery. Things look bleak. But I just believe in the quarterback. I believe in walking to him when it's all said and done, we'll be the last man standing in this division.
Well, that's a mouthful because he gets beat
Tough.
up. He is beat. Boy, the
Yeah.
Falcons took a pound of flesh
They
out of him.
did. They did, and still.
Woo.
And he still
Yeah.
dropped the dime to Aguilar, who did what?
He dropped it.
Yeah, thought it was Halloween and asked for Butterfingers.
Then he got
and
away
they gave
with
it to him.
he got away with throwing a punt to Aguilar.
No,
and
he didn't.
somehow
No, he
caught it.
didn't.
Yeah,
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
That was a great throw.
Oh,
Under duress, and made that happen.
Yeah.
Now, see, Tom Brady make that throw. Did you see that, Jenny? Did you see? That's why they call him Tom Brady. That's why he the best. Now,
Tom Brady wouldn't even tried that throw.
Oh, he would have.
That was an interception waiting to happen.
Oh, like the one he threw up in the end,
Yeah.
like the one he threw up in the end zone to Josh Gordon last year. That wasn't an interception. But anyway, Skip, no, Philly is 2 games into the season, and Cowboys are 2-0. Yes, they've had a very favorable schedule. I like the fact that they haven't played down to the competition. But as we get to the meat of their schedule, we'll see how this thing plays out. Skip, it doesn't, for me, I don't really know if I ever looked at when I was playing like, oh, Vegas got Kansas City picked to win the division, or San Diego or the Raiders, Seattle. No, you just play. But your day of reckoning is coming. Sooner or later, guess what, Skip Bayless? We're in your division. You're going to have to play the Green. You're going to have to play the Eagles.
We played them twice last year. Beat them both times.
We ain't talking do it last year. We talking about right now.
Yeah, Carson Wentz was standing upright.
He wasn't healthy.
Oh. You think he's healthy right now as we speak? I don't.
He's a little sore.
Probably got fractured ribs.
He's a little sore right now.
Okay.
He's a little sore right now.
Okay.
He took a beating. But the mere fact that he came back in the game lets you know just how
He's
tough
got
he
guts.
is. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, my turn.
Yeah.
I hate to say this over and over, but
you don't.
the Cowboys are just better than the Eagles. And it boils down to my quarterback is just better than your quarterback. My quarterback, I got to knock on wood here, is more durable than your quarterback.
Well, your quarterback hadn't got hit yet. A couple of hits. A couple.
He got hit by Josh Norman, and he shouldn't have.
Oh, no, that don't count as a hit. He's 40 yards down the field. I'm talking about hitting the pocket.
You know? He's a big, strong man, too. And yet, the war of attrition has begun. Now, you got Deshaun and, more important, Alshon, it sounds like his calf is going to keep him out for a few weeks. And now I have lost a guy I told you all offseason would emerge as one of the best and most dangerous deep threats in pro football, and that is Michael Gallup.
Yep.
And he has gone for 2 to 4 with a meniscus tear that he is having cleaned up today. Again, I don't play pro football, you did, but I've had 3 of those. They're not that big a deal, but it depends how deep the tear is.
Right.
They thought Sunday night he was A-okay, that he walked out of the locker room. But once
I didn't even notice he was injured.
I didn't
Okay, it happened late in the game.
Okay.
And yet, all the reports were Sunday night, he's okay. He said he was okay until they looked at the pictures.
A little closer.
And there was a tear, but I'm assuming it's a small tear.
Okay.
And if you do have a small tear, you can get it clipped.
Right.
And if you will dive back into the rehab, I know I have the best surgeon in the world. He always told me, I did this 3 times, the day of the surgery, as soon as the anesthesia wears off, you got to get on the exercise bike with no resistance. You got to, and just pedal it for an hour, just around and around with don't have any resistance on it, because you got to get the range of motion rolling again. Because it's fine, it's not injured anymore. You clip you took the little flap off, because the flap will catch in the mechanism and you'll just scream, bloody murder.
Absolutely.
But if you can get rolling, then you can get right back, because if you have enough cushion left, you'll start running in a week. And maybe in 2 weeks he could be okay. Well, obviously, thank you, schedule-making gods, we got Miami, and then we go to New Orleans, and it's Teddy Bridgewater. Okay, so without Michael Gallup, can you win that game? Maybe. They won't be any cakewalk in New Orleans. Again, Teddy Bridgewater's pretty good. He's the highest paid backup quarterback in the league for a reason.
Well, he got to earn it now.
Okay, now he's got to earn it. But more bad news for me, war of attrition. My safety, Xavier Woods, I just was told, is gone for 4 to 6 weeks with a bad ankle sprain. Aha. So I got Kayvon Frazier, who I do like, and I like that kid, Donovan Wilson, that they drafted in the 6th round out of Texas A&M. I always liked him there.
But none of them can beat my guy, Jeff Heath.
Okay.
Balling for y'all.
Jeff Heath's pretty good.
Yeah,
He's
balling.
pretty good, yeah. He's an overachiever.
And now, what about your guy that filed for the patent, Taco Sunday?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
You want to
ask
ask
about
it out.
Okay, I don't know what happened. He got hurt twice. He's had 2 surgeries already as a Dallas Cowboy, but when I watched him at Michigan, he leaped off my screen. And when they got him with the 28th overall pick, I thought, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, you did.
And when I saw him in the preseason this year, he flashed for me in 2 games where he just came alive.
But he flashed against guys that are not currently in the NFL.
All right, well, that's not true. They were playing, in the 3rd preseason game, they were playing some starters, and he flashed. But the point is, he also flashed on social media against Jerry and company. Yeah.
What did he say, Skip?
And I think he just social media his way right
What
out
did he
of
say?
town.
What did he say?
He just, I don't want to.
Now, you
but
do
it's just
free.
crazy talk.
Yeah,
it's just a lot of crazy talk.
He's a free, eat more tacos.
Okay, good. Yeah, okay, fine. So, again, that is a glaring need for my team, rushing the passer.
Yeah.
There's no...
Well, Robert Quinn comes back this week.
Okay, that will help. But if he can't make it with a deficiency there, right?
Yeah.
With no Randy Gregory, obviously.
Correct.
He's still suspended indefinitely. Okay, so that's a bad sign. So, and they also lost Antoine Woods, who's the equivalent of, who'd you say in Philadelphia, like Malik?
Malik Jackson.
Jackson, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we got Malik Collins on our side. I'll take Malik Collins on our side. But the
Yeah,
point
because
is,
he's healthy.
well, he's healthy. So the attrition has started, but we do have a Devin Smith sighting. Did you see that? He caught a 51-yarder, and then he had another big third down catch later in the game. So again,
He's
maybe
Michael
he can.
Gallup.
Okay, well, he's not, but he can fly.
Oh, he can run.
Yep.
Oh, he can run.
And guess who's back from concussion protocol? Tavon Austin. And once upon a time, he ran 4.3, and he's 29 years of age.
Yeah,
And
but-
he was the, 8th overall pick?
Yeah, but
Okay.
what you call him? Got Randall Cobb is a bigger, better, more trusted, well-rounded version of Tavon Austin. The way Randall Cobb is playing is what they envision of Tavon Austin when they
Yep.
I think they traded for him, Skip.
Yeah.
Randall Cobb is healthy. He's playing unbelievable.
All right, but again, trying to take up the Michael Gallup slack. If we could get to 4-0, I would love it because here comes the Green Bay Packers. That's October 6th at Jerry World.
Why y'all
But
get
if
all these
there's-
games at home? Why
Got
y'all
that
just
one
go-
circled?
Okay, if there's no Michael Gallup, that'll be a hard game to win.
October 6th.
Oh, y'all weren't winning with Gallup.
Yeah, we were.
No, you weren't.
Oh, come on.
At home.
Yeah. We're going to win the division. That's all I know.
I know you're not.
Yeah. And
confidence.
help me out. If you win the division, that means automatically you make the playoffs, correct?
Yeah, you
And
get
that
a
means
home game.
automatically you lose 5 more cases, right?
But you're not winning the division. Walker to him won't let that happen.
Okay. Well, I think he's becoming limpid to him now.
And still dropping dimes.
Yeah.
Dropped the dime to Aguilar, walked it to him. That's how he got the name. He walked it to him, put the ball in his arms, and he fumbled.
I got to tell you, the more I watch Carson Wentz, W-I-N-C-E, the more he makes me nervous. I don't know how you watch him because if I were betting Diet Dew on Carson Wentz, I would just be on the edge of my seat because he just plays inartfully. He has low poise to me. He's always over anxious to try to make something happen. And he stands and he takes shots and he doesn't have a great feel for playing quarterback. I've said this from the
must be
start.
nice to have Zeke. It must be nice to be able to turn around and hand the ball off to a guy
Yeah.
and he breaks it off for like a 40-yard touchdown run. That's a beautiful thing.
I thought Jordan Howard was going to change life in Philadelphia. Am I right?
No.
Would you tell me that Sanders kid's going to
I mean,
change life? You've
I'm
been
not-
raving about him.
Skip, but they're not Zeke.
Okay.
Zeke's the second best back in football.
That's what I say.
No, second best. I say Saquon's the best.
Well, I think he's the best,
So what-
and I got him on my side.
Yeah, you
And
do.
again, we're back to Jenny's question. I got this.
No, you don't.
Not
Yeah.
worried.
No, you don't.
I've got the best offensive line in pro football because the offensive line I saw at Atlanta on Sunday night, it was pretty leaky.
Well, I'm going to see what you guys do once you go on the road into a noisy venue
Well,
where you guys can't hear the
okay.
snap.
Be
Because
tough.
right now, Washington, there wasn't a whole lot of going on. Case Keenum's not exciting anyone, and you played the Giants.
Well, he excited me on Sunday.
No, he didn't.
Talk about me being on edge of my seat.
And the Giants already thinking about making a quarterback switch. How that working out? And you talk about, oh, the Giants are tough. That's a rivalry game. Well, maybe it used to be.
They went right down the field with Eli Manning at the helm and went up 7-0. Case Keenum took it right down the field and went up 7-0.
And it was another 2.5 quarters before they scored again.
That's
You know-
because my offense is explosive.
What that got to do with your defense?
You know, my quarterback, dare I say, he's in the MVP race. I think he's announced his arrival. In
That's
that.
all he is.
Already.
You know, Skip, you know the P Street is the largest 10K in America. It's right in Atlanta. Got over
Okay.
55,
It is.
60,000 people.
Yep.
Everybody in the race. You're not winning. Just because he in the race, he ain't winning. Well, is my homeboy going on vacation? Is he retired? Did he retire?
How many at Peachtree have a chance to win the race?
Exactly.
5.
Exactly.
Okay.
So how many in the MVP race have a chance to win it?
5.
2.
Mine's one
Two.
of those.
2.
Who's the second one?
Maybe Brady.
Thank you.
Bec-
We got an acknowledgement.
Yeah, but hold on. Here's the thing, though, Skip. Think about this. The Patriots play in the division with the Jets and Miami. I'm not going to even mention Buffalo. I'm going to say the Jets and Miami. And that's what he's been up against for the last 2 decades, with the exception of maybe 3 years out of the 20 years he's been there. So are we really?
Hold on just a second. The Chargers just lost at the Lions? The Raiders just got blown off the map in the second quarter by Kansas City, and Denver just lost at home to Chicago?
on a
That
bull
was a
jive
tough
call.
finish.
Okay,
That
but
was
anyway.
tough.
And now Denver's 0-2?
Yeah, we're the first
interesting.
team. We were the only team since the 2000s that didn't start 0-2.
Well, you want to talk about a cakewalk division.
What cakewalk?
The AFC West.
Hold on. San Diego did this last year and went 12-4.
They should move back to San Diego after what they did in Detroit.
Well, whatever. But that's okay, Skip Bayless. Your day coming. But you start with this. See, I knew you was going to start this. I knew if he got off to a good start, you was going to start trumpeting this MVP. He's not. Stop it.
Well, you said he wasn't going to get off to a good start. So what did you know?
Against the Giants? In Washington? Really?
Division arch rivals.
They're not no arch rivals.
Rivals.
You know you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I'm not.
Rivalries run
Skip,
deep.
I know.
Eli's about to go to the bench.
Okay.
Shannon, it's official. He has gone to the bench. Breaking news. Daniel Jones is starting.
Told you.
And I told you I wanted Daniel Jones in Game 1 at Jerry World. I wanted him.
It is now
I asked
official.
for him.
And that's what. Think about it. If that's what you played over today, the guy won 2 Super Bowls, and we've seen enough. Eli, we've seen enough.
Well, they needed to see what would happen for a couple of games, and not much
Have
happened.
you not seen over the past 3 years?
Do you realize the Giants had almost 500 total yards at Jerry World on opening day?
Sound like a Kyler Murray stat. A lot of empty calories.
Really?
Yeah, you ain't eating nothing with no nutritional value.
Yeah, if Kyler Murray is the quarterback of maybe the worst team in pro football this side of Miami, those are not empty calories. Those are hard calories.
I don't know, the Jets fighting hard to be in that tier, to be in that cluster with Miami, with the Cardinals, the Jets. They're all
But
fighting
if the Jets
hard.
were whole, if they were healthy, they would be a little more respectable. Yeah. You love Quinn and Williams.
I do like Quinn. I like CJ also. But they did lose to Buffalo at home after being up, 16-0.
Maybe Buffalo's better than you think. Now Brady's going to have to
Oh,
deal
so
with it.
I think you see what he's doing, Jenny. You see what he's doing? You say, oh, Buffalo better than you think. They happen to also be in the AFC East with New England. But we're going to talk about, what about the Miami? Are they going to get any better anytime soon?
Yeah.
Can a 23-year-old Dan Marino come back and play? Maybe they get Duper and Clayton to come back.
Everyone's trying
Maybe
to just
Dan
get
should
out
come
of
back
there.
now.
Anyone could play there. Everyone wants to leave. Okay, we're dropping this for now, and we haven't talked about LaVar in a long time, but has he finally gone too far with Lonzo? We'll tell you the latest next.
No mercy.
So things got heated in an exchange between LaVar and Lonzo Ball in the latest episode of Ball in the Family. Lonzo brought up the idea of renaming Big Baller Brand, and LaVar did not take kindly to the idea. Take a listen.
Would you change the name?
Hell no, I wouldn't change the name.
I'm just saying from a marketing standpoint.
From a marketing standpoint, regardless of what it is.
I'm just saying, that's my opinion. I'm just asking a question.
I'm just saying. Triple B is always going to be the name. On the fact that it also stands for the 3 Ball brothers. I'm not changing that at all.
What's your opinion on that, Joe?
I don't give a about his opinion.
I just want to hear.
But no, listen to me, son. When I come out with a name and then somebody tell me to change it, that's like me telling me to change your name. That's like people saying, oh, hey, change Lonzo's name to Alfonso on the fact that he's been damaged goods for the last 2 years.
It's cringeworthy when you hear that. Shannon, do you like the way Lonzo responded to LaVar?
I do, but he's trying to be very respectful of his father because he realized that is still my father. Now, me, at some point in time, I got to put my foot down. It says, okay, you can have them triple Bs, but I ain't going to be a part of it. And because Lonzo has already said the shoes were trash. Basically, I had to train shoes every quarter in order to get through. The Lakers, and some believe that his injuries were caused by those shoes. Now, we didn't see the guy that when Lonzo referred to the gentleman, let's ask what he thinks, and LaVar says, I don't give a bleep what he thinks.
Yeah. He's
like, you guys have built a great thing. The last 18 months, I can see all those triple Bs, but not on shoes. Okay, maybe you sell T-shirts. Hanes sell T-shirts and drawers. They ain't trying to make no sneakers.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to find a new lane. Maybe it's, a paraphernalia, Skip. Maybe it's, shirts, T-shirts, shorts, things of that nature, not the sneaker business.
Yeah.
Because it's hard for me to believe, Skip, if Zion Williamson blew out that shoe Nike and say, man, these shoes trash. I ain't wearing this mess. That Nike's going to give him what they gave him. Jordan's going to give him what they gave him, Skip. It's hard for me to believe that. Now, we've heard Lonzo say the shoes were trash and that I had to change them out in order to get through a game. I had to change them out every quarter. LaVar just doesn't get it. It's like, LaVar didn't lose $1.5 million. He refuses to hear or see anyone else's side but his. Do you see the damage that the Triple B is taking? First of all, the product wasn't getting shipped out on time. The quality of the product. So you're going to have to do something. I tell you what, you let me, my mom that came out something and called it the triple S's because all my brothers and sisters, we that S. Now I'm the big S. Because the reason why things are going, Skip, I'm the big S. Now I was like, Mama, we need to change the names. You're like, nah, we ain't changing no S. I tell you what to do. You might as well call it double S. Because triple S, the other S is leaving. And see how this work out. Yeah. If I'm Lonzo, I say, okay, you call it what you want to. But I ain't going to be a part of this triple B. You might as well call it double B, unless you're going to be the other B.
Yep.
LaVar, it's going to be LaVar, Melo, and LaGello. Because Lonzo is up out of here. Yep. Skip, he's trying to be as peaceful as he possibly can because at the end of the day, that's his father. He wants to be respectful. But LaVar will only see one side. He will only see his side. He will only hear from his point of view, and then nothing else matters, and then he shuts everybody else out. He's not even, the guy was there. So why'd you invite that guy to the house, Skip, if you don't give a bleep about his opinion? Why is he even there then?
Well, did Lonzo invite him?
Well,
it looked like they were having a board meeting without Dad, right?
It looks like Lonzo, from what I could gather, Lonzo owns 51%. The mom and the dad own 16%. And then the guy that stole the money owns 16%.
And I think he took like 90%.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, just quick point of order, just to maybe disqualify this. It's possible this was scripted and rehearsed.
Right.
It's possible because it is a reality show.
Right.
But even given that, it was music to my ears to at least hear and see Lonzo stand up to his father even while he was sitting down.
Right.
For a couple of exchanges, he hung in with him. And I had not seen or heard of that before this. So I thought that was at least a start.
Right.
Because, listen, in the end, I like LaVar a lot. We've had him on the show numerous times. I enjoy being around him. He's fun.
Yes.
But he would be a nobody without his number one son.
Absolutely.
A nobody.
Yes.
And nobody has done more to make it harder on Lonzo to succeed than that father did. He painted the biggest target on that kid's back that any kid this side of LeBron James has had painted on his back. And LeBron's was painted just because he was so great as a senior in high school, right? That you just saw it coming. We could watch his games on TV.
Right.
So nobody was hyping him. His game hyped itself.
Correct.
And he lived up right away in his first game at Sacramento. But nobody hated LeBron when he walked in the door. And a lot of people were starting to hate Lonzo because they hated his dad.
Right.
Right?
I mean, and no one was hyping LeBron. You didn't hear Magic and Jordan and all these guys. Oh, this guy gonna be the best. He better than such and such right now. He better than Kobe right now in the box.
How about if you got drafted by arguably the greatest point guard ever? I think he's the greatest point guard. Magic Johnson.
Right.
And he is running your hometown team, the Los Angeles Lakers, and he proclaims the day they pick you number 2 overall in the draft, your jersey is going to hang in our rafters at Staples.
Right.
Ha!
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Right.
So you're going to have to live up to Magic, and then your dad's painting your target bigger and bigger because you're better than Steph Curry already.
Yeah, put Steph Curry on the UCLA and they ain't going to the Sweet 16.
Okay.
Put my son on Golden State and they winning the title. Really?
Okay, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, I realize the Bible says, honor thy father and thy mother.
Yes.
But what if thy father does not honor thee?
Right. Yeah.
Did he really honor you? He took advantage of you.
Yes.
And now it's time for you to push back and stand up and say, I've had enough. I am the 51%er here.
Yeah.
And look, I don't advocate this, but you've gone through these things in your life. I'm just going to tell a quick story. My father was just a bad guy who did everything in his power to make me fail. And when I was 17 years of age, I finally stood up because he was very abusive. And I just said, no, if you come any closer again, I'm going to swing. And he came and I swung and I decked him, and it was easy because he was drunk. So it wasn't, I'm not proud of it.
Right.
But it was the turning point of my life.
Right.
I became a man at that moment, and I said, I'm out of here. I'm going onward and upward.
Well, you got to leave at that point.
Okay.
Skip, once you get into a confrontation, and I've always told my kids this. I say, look, I'm always going to be your dad.
Yeah.
I said, I want you to be my child, but I want you to stay in a child's place.
Yep.
I said, but once you step to that and you feel you're on my level, then we're going to have a problem.
Okay.
Skip, I would never, I would never, ever be disrespectful to my mom. But if my mom's wrong, I'll tell her she's wrong, and she know I'll tell her she's wrong. And I think there's a way that you can go about it. And Lonzo is trying to be as respectful as he possibly can.
And he backed off at the end of the clip we saw and deferred.
And he said, whatever. He said, whatever. And he's like, speak your mind. He's like, no, I can't speak my mind because you're not going to hear what I got to say. And I don't want to speak my mind, and then it takes a really hard turn to the left, and it becomes something that it really should never be. And so that's the hardest thing, Skip, because I've always, I'm very respectful of my mother and my grandmother because they raised me. I could never even imagine my grandfather because my uncles were grown. When my grandfather spoke, they listen. He called whatever time he called, they coming. That's just the way it was in our community, Skip. But you're right. There's only so much that a person can take before you say, you know what? I tell you what, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm up out of here.
Yeah.
You have the triple B's. You do with it as you please. Okay. Yeah. But I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna call Nike or I'm gonna call Adidas or Puma or whomever. Go overseas and get me one of these things. I'm gonna do my own thing because clearly, it only matters what you say. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what I think. So since you want to have it your way, I'm gonna let you have it your way, and I'm gonna go do my thing. That way, we can still be father-son.
Okay.
Because that man did take up $1.5 million from me, and you made it seem like it was nothing. Like
that is correct.
You still, I don't care.
And to your credit, you challenged LaVar on that when he's sitting here.
Yeah, but please. I mean, if my son were to lose $500, that's a lot of money to him, especially because he made it.
Yep.
I'm like, bro, you got your health and all that, but he's like, Dad, that's well and good. But you have to understand, I worked hard for that money and someone took it from me that I trusted.
Yep.
And I think that's what hurt Lonzo more than anything. He said his dad, he's been in his life since he was 16. That was someone, they broke bread together. You come to my house and eat, and we did things together, and you betrayed my trust.
Yeah.
And for some reason, LaVar can't get that through his head why Lonzo would be so upset with that. I just don't get it.
That part I don't get either.
And then Lonzo did sit still and take the fact that LaVar took a shot at him.
He did.
And he was doing it just through analogy. Hey, what if I said, I'm going to change your name to, what was it, Alfonso?
Alfonso, yeah.
Because you've been damaged goods. Well,
you can't change his name. He grown now. He can change his own name.
He do it himself.
But the shot of damaged goods came across between the lines to me, and I'm reading in, but it came across as LaVar, a tough guy from Compton, saying to his son, you've been weak the last 2 years. You've been hurt too much. You played soft too much, okay? And even though he's doing it through the analogy of the damaged brand, I didn't like it. And I hope Lonzo sleeps on it and says, you know what? It's time for me to become my own man. And he's got the greatest break of his career.
Yes.
He's going to New Orleans. He can be the alley to Zion's oop, right?
Yep.
It's perfect. He can become the Stockton to a potential Malone, right?
Yes.
John Stockton, Karl
Malone, correct.
Okay?
Yep.
And
Gary Payton and Sean Kemp.
Yeah, like that. Okay, you have a chance to start fresh in a pretty good situation.
Because this game kind of reminds you of Gary Payton was Defensive Player of the Year. Very good.
Yeah.
He was more apt to assist the ball, but he could score it. GP could average 20 points in the season a couple of times. So that could
I'll buy that.
That'd be a great situation.
Okay, it is a great situation under a very good general manager who I think will continue to put together a very good team around those two.
I like the head coach. I like Al.
And
I like
so
Al
do I. I've known him for a long time. It's a great place for Lonzo to start over. In fact, he's one number 2 I will root for.
Yep. No.
Speaking of that other guy.
You've always been rooting for him.
I have.
Yes.
But he's
that number 2.
Yeah.
This
I don't call this guy number 2.
But,
I know.
But the
We know
Lakers,
that.
they had to do that, Skip. They had to do what they had to do to get OAD. You see that?
We'll see how that turns out.
Hey, Skip, let me tell you something, Skip. Let's be all the way 100. You can go into the draft in the next 5 to 6 years, and you can find you a Lonzo Ball, or you can find you a Josh Hart, or you can find
maybe
you
a Josh Hart,
or you can find you an Ingram. Them guys that are 6'10", that wake up in the morning and give you 26 and 12 and 2, they come along every so often.
And they give you sub 500.
But I bet they'll be sub 500 this year.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to put something on that.
We're getting closer to finally seeing
Yeah, we're about 30, a little over 30 plus days, Skip.
You're going to be there.
I will be there.
Front row? All right.
I'll be
I'm
some
to
row.
take it for myself. We are going. What did you say?
I'm going to be in some row. I don't know about no front row.
You're going to be.
Might be a corner row, but I'm going to be in the building.
Might be.
Guys, we are going to go back to Antonio Brown just because he was so productive with his first game in New England. But we want to talk about his future. And USA Today NFL columnist Jared Bell, he is here. He's going to give us the
plugged
latest.
in.
We'll go there next.
Yep.
No mercy.
SI.com released details of new allegations of sexual misconduct by Antonio Brown. Through his lawyer, Brown denied the allegations. According to reports, Brown's initial accuser, who filed a civil lawsuit against the receiver, met with NFL investigators yesterday. The league has yet to release any official statement on the matter. When asked about how he was handling the AB situation, Bill Belichick said he was just focused on game planning for the Jets. We are now joined by USA Today NFL columnist Jared Bell. Good to have you with us this morning.
By the way, allow me to say I've worked with Jarrett for many, many years, known him for a long, long time. Nobody is more plugged in the National Football League than Jarrett Bell. So we appreciate your insight today.
Good to be back.
Thanks for stopping by and joining us.
We're good. It's good to have you because you have been covering this story closely. So, Jared, in your opinion, how many games do you think Antonio Brown will miss this season?
Besides the one game he has missed already.
Yeah.
I'll say 0 at this
Really?
point. Yeah, at this point, based on what we know now.
Okay.
You can't take him off the field just because you think that these allegations may be, these heinous allegations, let's underscore that, may be true or not.
Okay.
And the reason that you really have to be careful if you are the NFL is because you can't set a precedent and start taking guys off the field just based on allegations.
Right.
And just think of the risk of that. If you're someone who has a beef with an NFL player or you're a spouse, a significant other,
Sure.
I mean, that is some dangerous territory. If there is no police involvement, if there's no criminal situation, you think about some of the other cases that have really stained the shield, if you will, in recent years. And when the NFL got involved with those investigations, it always kind of started from the fact that there was a criminal proceeding in place, either in progress or completed. We don't have that here. And I think that's what's really going to make it difficult for the NFL. Now, the investigation has begun, so what will they uncover? Where will that take the NFL, and will it result in any evidence? I think that is the key question. But as of right now, you can't just take him off because you think he's a jerk.
Yet, speaking of dangerous territory, you wrote in your piece last week in USA Today that, I'm paraphrasing, the worst nightmare for the league would be to allow this to go on to a jury trial, and that the jury would find in favor of Brittany Taylor, and it would make you look bad, like you didn't react at all, and it would bring back up all the Ray Rice lack of reaction, right?
I think that's a risk for the NFL in terms of, unpacking Ray Rice and what you did when you knew what you knew. But the difficulty here is to really have some type of evidence. Now, if something comes out from this point, then you can react to that based on hard evidence. So the NFL is acting in terms of opening up an investigation. That's acting. That's some action. That is definitely taking a course of action to see what they can uncover.
I'll give you, they're not just sitting back saying we don't want to get involved.
But there was an article that just came out, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, about a lady that was painting in Antonio Brown's home.
Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated
It was
article.
yesterday,
And she said that she was downstairs painting. He came downstairs with just a hand towel over, and he was naked. Do you believe the NFL will interview her and say this is a pattern of behavior that we need, because that would that be considered conduct detrimental to the NFL?
Again, in that case, no criminal charges, but it does definitely add another layer when you're talking about who are we dealing with.
Right.
And I think it behooves the NFL to reach out to the woman and to interview her and to get whatever information that it can get. And, there are other situations, people there's a chef or two, fitness people who have worked with him. I mean, they're definitely, as the Sports Illustrated article by Robert Klemko revealed and outlined, and some of these instances that were referred to in the article, we've heard before.
Right.
These are about unpaid debts.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
So the point being, yes, there does seem to be a pattern of behavior that is very troubling when you talk about people who have dealt with him. Now, when it gets to the level where there's sexual assault and this type of, behavior that is alleged, that is a bad look.
I think that's the issue. I don't think the NFL getting in the business of collecting debts. They're not a debt collection agency, Skip. So I don't really think they're going to care about that. But I think this young lady feeling that she felt uncomfortable, he made her feel uncomfortable. I think, Jared, you mentioned, I think this leads to a pattern where people then will be, it's an easier jump to say from A to B, as opposed to saying, well, he was a jerk in Pittsburgh or he was a jerk in Oakland, and you make that huge leap and say, oh, yeah, I can see him possibly doing something like that. I think the pattern of behavior are closer between Miss Taylor and this lady if it can be proven.
And that's the big if, really, because, allegations are one thing, being able to prove it, to stand up in, with any charges, any legal charges. Because you can just imagine how the NFL Players Association and DeMaurice Smith, who, by the way, are in the midst of talking about an extension of the CBA.
Yeah.
And there's been all of this conversation for a number of years about Roger Goodell's power and how do you best implement some of these policies. And so I think obviously the NFLPA is watching this very closely because you can't just start taking people off the field just because you think that these allegations, as horrendous as they may be, are true or not. And, one of the things that's been very difficult for me to kind of grasp and get my hands around in terms of trying to write about this issue is to understand, and it's not difficult to understand that people who are victims of alleged abuse have different ways of going about how they pursue whether or not that's criminal or civil or whatnot. And so it's very difficult to put yourself in the person's shoes and then say, well, I would do this or I would do that.
Everybody reacts differently to different situations.
And
Totally.
reportedly, she and Antonio's lawyers went back and forth for, quote unquote, several months trying to negotiate a settlement that they failed to reach because I'm assuming Antonio said, no, I don't want to settle this. It was a consensual relationship.
Or settle at the number.
Or at the
because
number.
It reported that it was excess $2 million or excess of $2 million. So maybe he was willing to settle at a lesser number, but once you got into a couple of $1 million, he's like, nah, I'm out.
Yeah, and that's interesting too because typically when you have a civil case, you try to have some type of settlement before you get to that point. Right. It's like, okay, if this doesn't happen,
Because the burden of proof is a lot lower in a civil than a criminal.
Oh, no doubt about that.
Yeah. And then they bring in this lady, this article. Now they can really show a pattern of behavior.
Yeah, but again, you still have to have some type of proof if you're going to start.
So let me ask you a question. It goes civil, and I think Skip touched on this. It goes to a civil trial. He gets convicted. He loses. Now what do you do?
Well, I think if that were to happen and a jury found him to be guilty.
Civilly?
What's the word? Guilty.
Yes.
Culpable.
Yes.
Responsible. All of these things. Then, I think the NFL would have a different leg to stand on in terms of discipline, and I would fully expect that the league would do something if it got to that point.
Even though he's not criminally charged.
And that's a difficult thing because if you look at the personal conduct policy, and that's something that, really weighed on me as I looked at this, deeper and deeper as last week proceeded. It's in the policy that says, here are the standards for putting people on the commissioner's exempt list. One, there has to be some type of criminal proceeding. Two, there has to be an investigation that the league has conducted. Now, there are things, and I know you talk about like Article 46, where you can say, well, there's conduct detrimental. And that could be a fuzzy gray area because if you take that and you use that in this case, then there are probably other cases where you could use that same standard to say, well, let's take them off the field because of under Article 46. So you have to be very judicious in how you use those things. And I think that's one of the problems for the league. But again, in their personal conduct policy, when it talks about the commissioner's exempt list, it very plainly points out criminal proceeding and NFL investigation. So the investigation's underway. So maybe as we move forward, they'll have that.
But that's to put him on the commissioner's exempt list.
Exactly.
But the commissioner can step in and suspend him without putting him on the list.
Yeah, but I don't think that the league would want to have that precedent under these types of circumstances. And now if something were to surface, like we saw the Ray Rice situation just go to another level because of the Kareem Hunt situation. So that's different. So the evidence is the deal.
Okay.
I mean, we could think Antonio Brown
I
is
got it.
not a good character, but you've got to have some type of consistency in how you rule on these matters.
I can live with that.
What happened 2 years ago to my Dallas Cowboys? Ezekiel Elliott not charged by the Fort Lauderdale Police Department or the Columbus, Ohio Police Department, who investigated both times.
Incidents.
And the accuser was interviewed multiple times by Kia Roberts, then the director of investigations for the league, and she decided and concluded not credible enough. And she went to her boss, Lisa Friel, who then went to her boss, Roger Goodell, and said not credible. And Roger still dropped the hammer for 6 games on Zeke. Was it because of the incident at the St. Patrick's Day parade where he pulled the woman's top down and it was caught on video, right? Was it a pattern of misbehavior off the field, bar fight incidents? Maybe, okay, but how different is that from what we're talking about right now? I'm not sure it's all that different.
Well, let me tell you how it's different, Skip. The Ezekiel Elliott case began when the NFL started its investigation. There was a police proceeding. There was evidence, there was interviews, there was a police report. We don't even have a police report in this Antonio Brown situation. So if you're the NFL and you're investigating this, and you're starting your investigation, hopefully if you're investigating, you find out more than the police did, more than that's there, but that's your starting point. In this case, you're starting from ground zero.
She started civilly instead of criminally.
But there's not even a police report.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
There's these allegations.
Right. If she'd have started, went to the police and said this happened, then the police would have had no choice but to start an investigation. But she started the other way. She filed in federal court with a civil lawsuit. But the investigation, I think this happened in Florida, they're saying they're willing to, listen to whatever she may have to offer and then move along from there.
Yeah, and the big question in my mind is, why are we taking this course of action first as opposed to, going to law enforcement?
Right.
Because, and that's why, I really qualify it by saying I may not totally understand what victims go through and how they arrive at their decisions, but it just strikes me as a situation where if these things did happen, A, why do you go back a couple times? And B, why not get law enforcement involved?
And it's hard to know. I don't think any of us can put ourselves in that situation and why she's handling it. But we do need to have both sides of the story. And this is just the beginning. So, Jared, thank you for your insight. Appreciate you being here.
Bro.
Okay.
Always good to have you with us.
Good to see you. Okay, thanks.
We did have some breaking news earlier about the Giants. We are moving on to Daniel Jones. What does that mean for Eli? We'll talk about it next.
No mercy.
There will be a new quarterback under center for New York. The Giants announced that rookie Daniel Jones will be getting the starting nod on Sunday, replacing Eli Manning following the team's 0-2 start. In a statement through the team website, head coach Pat Shurmur said he had talked to both quarterbacks this morning regarding Eli's reaction to the news. Shurmur said this: Eli and I spoke this morning. I told him that we are making a change and going with Daniel as the starter. I also talked to Daniel. Eli was obviously disappointed, as you would expect, but he said he would be what he has always been, a good teammate, and continue to prepare to help this team win games. So, Shannon, when you think about Eli's career, what are you going to remember?
Skip, he's a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. Skip, he went on 2 historic great runs in the playoffs.
Yep.
But outside of that, he's been a very average quarterback. Eli made the playoffs 6 times. Outside of those 2 playoff runs, he never won a playoff game. He's only went to the playoff once since that 2010, the last time they beat the Patriots in the playoffs. He's a 500 quarterback, 116 up, 116 down. He's led the NFL 3 times in INTs. And Eli Manning, Skip, is going to make the Hall of Fame off of 2 great playoff runs.
Really?
I do. I do, Skip. Because
usher him right into the Hall of Fame.
I'm not a voter. I'm in the Hall of Fame, and I used to think I knew what a Hall of Famer was, but obviously I don't anymore. But quarterbacks that win the MVP in that game, they normally get to the Hall of Fame. And he'd beat a 16-0 team that many thought were unbeatable, and he beat them. No matter what you think about Saturday, Skip Bayless, he did do that.
I could make a case the defense beat Tom Brady.
I would concur on that conclusion. But Skip, Eli Manning has been a very average quarterback. His numbers say that. His win-loss records say that. But he had 2 historic runs. He went 4-0, and outside of that, he's 0-4. So I wish I can give you more than that and says, okay, well, you do yada yada. No. Eli had 2 great runs. Other than that, he's been a very average quarterback.
This is simply the weirdest career in NFL history. There's never been anything like this, and I will suggest there never will be anything like this, because we all start with the perspective of he is the son of Archie Manning, and he is the little brother of Peyton Manning. So he is established as NFL royalty on the day he's drafted.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
Sure.
And then you start throwing out the numbers. And if you take out the 2 magical runs to the Super Bowls, and he didn't just win the Super Bowl, he slayed Tom Brady twice.
Yes.
In his career, he's 3-2 against Tom Brady. And he won another game that was a big deal to the old show I was on ESPN, but it was back on November 6th of 2011. The Giants played at Foxborough, and he out-dueled him again.
Yep.
And threw a touchdown pass to Jake Ballard at the buzzer, 15 seconds left, to beat Tom Brady in his house.
Yep.
So he was a Brady killer.
Yep.
And other than that, I can even make the case he was below average. You led this league in interceptions 3 times? Really? So you made 4 Pro Bowls, but you played 16 years. So you only made 4 out of 16. You can't call that perennial Pro Bowl.
No.
Right?
No.
Okay. And how about 241 career interceptions? That's the most among all active quarterbacks right now. And how about the Giants hung on too long just because he was NFL royalty and they were waiting for one blast from the past, because his starting record since 2017 is 8-25.
Yeah.
8-25. I used to think he was a Cowboy killer, but he ended up 13-17 against Dallas, and he lost his last 5 straight. Okay? So is that a Hall of Fame career? Well, if we take out the 2 Super Bowl runs, he was 0-4 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Is that Hall of Fame?
No.
Well, I get your, just on legendariness.
Yes.
He beat Tom Brady twice in Super Bowls.
But what did they say, Skip? You cement your legacy in the playoffs.
I know. He did it.
But you look at the regular season, it leaves a lot to be desired.
I'd say.
He's 500.
If
he's 118, Skip, if he was 118 and 114,
Right.
you can say he's over 500.
it makes you wonder, how did you keep your job this long? It's because of Archie, Eli, and 2 Brady Super Bowls, right?
Yeah, they kept hoping that he's going to be able. But you know Eli. If Eli just get to the playoffs, Skip, they kept hoping for that magic to happen, for that lightning.
Sure.
Because it struck twice. They say
did.
lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place. Well, it did on him.
And by the way, he did make one throw in each Brady game that turned the game.
Yes.
He made one to David Tyree, and he made one to Mario Manningham.
But the Mario Manningham, Skip, that might have been the best throw of his career.
Okay? All right, I'll give
22
you
man,
that.
and he dropped it
He
in there.
dropped it down the chimney.
He did. He
Whew,
did.
like Santa Claus.
Yes.
Right? Whew.
Yes. But I mean, Skip, I wish I could say more, but he has that on his resume. That's what he has, Skip. If I say Eli Manning, he beat Tom Brady. Tom Brady's unbeatable in that game.
Unbeatable.
Nobody can beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Eli did it twice.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a quarterback that's beaten outside of his big brother that's beaten Tom Brady in a playoff game, let alone twice. Now, Joe Flacco did it
Okay.
in a divisional round early in I think it might have been the division, might have been the wild card round. Beat him in the wild card, beat him in the AFC Championship. But Skip, that's few and far between. And that man took him down in the ultimate game.
He did. 2 close games.
And that's
took him down.
his resume. All this, Skip, nobody's going to mention that he's 116 and 116. No one's going to mention that he led the league in interception 3 times. No one's going to mention that he only made the Pro Bowl 4 times. What is it, 16
16 years.
Nobody's going to mention that.
Wow.
What's on his resume is at the top in big, bold font. 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback, also MVP in both of those games.
And yet, I've often watched him play, and I've wondered out loud, on TV. Does he even know where he is? Like, he seems to just sort of drift through games like Rain Man. Like he is, they've always said he has very high football IQ,
Right.
but he seems oblivious to everything going on around him. And it's like, see receiver, throw football to receiver. Where am I? Oh, yeah, I'm playing for the Giants.
But
Like,
his personality just seems so different than Peyton's.
Oh.
Peyton is like, so it seems to be, well, he is. He's like outgoing. He's like, but Eli is just like, they. I know they're brothers,
Really?
but they're like polar opposites.
Polar opposites.
And Cooper's even more crazy. His personality.
Yes.
Big person, huge
Yes.
person.
Huge
The biggest
personality
personality of the three
Of all of them.
is Cooper to
Yes.
me, or as they say, Cooper.
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Fun on Sundays for us.
But the point is that Eli never said anything. He was always the nicest guy.
Yes.
You know, he was a good face of the franchise.
Yes.
He just wasn't very entertaining.
No.
He worked at saying nothing. I'm not sure he ever had a whole lot to say.
And maybe, Skip, this is why he survived
Yes, he did.
as well as he did in New York.
In New York.
Because of the way he's wired, the way he's built. It seems like nothing bothers him.
Nothing.
It doesn't seem like he doesn't care if he's coming or going. Whatever. Oh, y'all say, when did they say that? Oh, they've been saying that all this time?
Criticizing him.
I've been here 16 years. I've never heard him say anything bad about me.
Eli, wake up.
Well, I asked Shannon in the commercial break, I said, don't you come to a point where you know you're just not doing it
You're
anymore?
the last to realize it.
And that's the part
Everybody else
that's
can see it,
sad
Skip. You
about
look at,
this.
I mean, I was watching myself on tape. I'm like, damn, that tight end moving slow. And then all of a sudden, he turned around. He had on 84. I'm like, that's me. Ooh. I'm like, ooh.
You didn't say that.
Skip, I did, Skip. All of a sudden, Skip, the twitch wasn't there.
Yeah.
I mean, you step on the gas and be like, ooh, I think I'm running. No, you're not.
Yeah.
And Skip, it's hard when you've played at this level to come to grips with your own mortality, your professional mortality.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? Knowing Eli's all-time survival ability, I will not be shocked if that kid takes this job and just stinks it up. And,
Eli
and gets
back in there about-
exposed.
That's what I was
And
worried
No,
about.
that Eli's starting next year. Game
No,
That's
no,
what I
no, no, no,
mean.
no, no,
I
no,
said that. I'm like, well,
no.
what if it's not
No,
the end?
in order for this guy to succeed, you're gonna have to move on from Eli. He can't, because he knows there's always a fallback plan. You got to know, hey, you say you can swim, I got to throw you out there, Skip, and there's
Well,
no
now
life
you have a
preserver.
GM and a coach who basically bet their jobs on that
Yes,
kid.
yes.
Because nobody was going to take that kid that high.
Yeah, well, they better be right, because you remember in the preseason how Pat Sherman was talking. Oh, I know what we think.
Yeah.
You should ask the guys that was against it that what they think now.
Okay.
You better be right.
I wonder if Eli would go anywhere else. Would anybody even give him a shot?
gosh.
I don't know.
I mean,
There's a few teams that need some
Eli's right behind Peyton as making the most money in NFL history.
Yeah.
So it's not a money issue. It's just whether or not he still wants to play. I believe he does.
Probably.
The Daniel Jones era has officially begun for the Giants, and we're going to be waiting to see what he does against the Bucs on Sunday. So a different quarterback to talk about, different start. Patrick Mahomes, has he already locked up the MVP? We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Patrick Mahomes continues to light up scoreboards through 2 weeks this season. In the second quarter alone against the Raiders, Mahomes threw for 278 yards and 4 touchdowns. Mahomes is tied for the most TD passes this season at 7 and leads the league with 821 passing yards, almost 100 more than the next closest player. So, Shannon, got to start with you on this. Has Patrick Mahomes already locked up the MVP?
No, there's a lot of football left to play. But who gave there? But he the front runner. he the front runner, Skip Bayless.
As in running away with.
Right now, he Usain Bolt
Is
in
he?
the field trying to catch up with him.
Really?
How'd that work out for him? 410 yards a game, 3.5 touchdowns. He's well on his way to matching the numbers that he put up last season. And just when you thought it was safe to come outside, he's going to have somebody say, he's going to have a sophomore slump. I ain't going to say who that was, Jenny. Sophomore slump. You know, it's a sophomore slump.
Have the playoffs started?
Whoa, Skip Bayless, it's not your turn. I didn't ask you to
Too soon.
intervene. Jenny, I was talking to Jenny.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking to you.
You're always talking.
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
I won't listen.
Now, look, he put up huge numbers without the game's best deep threat. I know you like Michael Gallup, but Tyreek Hill is the game's best deep threat.
I'll give you that.
And he put up those numbers because what happened, Sammy Watkins had this huge game in Jacksonville. So now Raiders are like, we're going to roll coverage to Sammy Watkins. And now you let Robinson go for
Robinson
$172.
went crazy.
And then you let
Every
Mecole.
time I looked up, number 11 was catching another one.
And you forgot about Mecole Hardman.
Oh, did
he ran
I?
4.33. He got speed to burn.
Yeah.
So they got all these receivers that can run 4.3, and then you got Kelsey. Now, the defense, I believe the defense is better than it was last year, but they're not elite. So they're going to be into a lot of shootouts. And so he's going to put up these huge numbers. I wouldn't be surprised that within probably the next 2 or 3 weeks, he has a 500-yard game. That's coming. That's coming. I was kind of hoping the Raiders like score. So that way, because I think he got a little careless. He hit him with a no-look again, too scared. You ain't see it. He hit him with a no-look. He was like, take that away. Oh, you thought I was throwing it over here? No.
And then you pose.
Yeah.
You pose the camera like.
Yeah. And he shoot layups like this. Ain't nothing layups out there.
It's a
layup. Yeah. Got it going.
I think it was like an easy
The
three.
athleticism.
Easy bucket. Easy bucket. You know what it is, Skip, baby.
Can you explain what he did? Like,
Which part?
in that game Sunday, he throws for 278 and 4 touchdowns in the second quarter, and then the rest of the game he was kind of like Eli Ordinary.
Oh, don't do that, Skip. We hadn't done the damage. There ain't no
really?
sense in come on, Skip.
I don't know. The rest of the game he threw for 165. Not bad, but not great.
I've seen Dak Prescott play entire games and not throw for 165. That ain't none of my business, Skip. I don't even know why I brought that up. I'm sorry. I shouldn't even brought that up.
Yeah.
I know that's a touchy subject for you.
Well, obviously, Dak Prescott is right in the middle of this MVP race so far. Now, maybe that will tail off because his quarterback and coach and play caller, they don't play that way.
Okay.
This is a balanced attack in Dallas, and that's why Dallas is going to win so many games.
Well, I can assure you, if they had Zeke Elliott, because remember when they had Kareem Hunt led the league in rushing.
Yep.
He was top 2 or 3 last year when he got suspended. Well, this is what it calls for. We got Shady LaShawn McCoy. He's not the McCoy that he was in Philly or his first year in Buffalo.
Yep.
Williams is a very versatile dual threat, but he's not the runner that Kareem Hunt is. So sometimes, Skip, you have to look, we got the guy. You trade up to get this guy right here, this is what you do. See, when you got a quarterback like that, you don't pay $50 million for a running back.
Okay.
Tom Brady ain't got no $50 million running back. Do he?
Okay. So, before I get to the guts of this discussion, quick point of order. I did say before the year started, I thought Ben Roethlisberger would be a dark horse MVP candidate.
Yeah.
He just suffered the weirdest quarterback injury I have ever heard. I'm pretty sure, even though they're not being specific, he's having Tommy John surgery, and quarterbacks don't have Tommy John injuries where you tear a ligament in your elbow, right?
Right.
But doesn't it sound like that's what happened? And I think he tore it late in training camp because that guy I saw at New England on opening Sunday night, I told you the next day, I said, I can't recognize him.
Yeah.
He couldn't throw it 10 yards. It looked like Peyton Manning coming off the neck problems.
Right. Especially last year when he ended up going to the bench.
Yeah. Right, that guy. Well, that's what Ben looked like at New England. And then they said he tried to practice, then he couldn't practice, and then he goes out there against Seattle, and they did lead at 10-7 at halftime when he went out, just before halftime, but he just couldn't throw it anymore.
Nope.
And so now he's got to have reattached ligament, and he's gone for the year.
Right.
Okay, so he's out, and that leaves...
Andrew Luck.
Yeah, that's okay,
retired.
fair enough. Yeah, that's another possible candidate. And that brings us to the guy you still will give no credit to, and it's the guy up in Foxborough, and he's still standing at age 42, and he's off to one of his best starts of his career.
Is it better than my homeboy got going?
Yes, he is. He's
Is
better.
it going?
Did you even ask that blasphemous question?
Skip.
Seriously.
Skip, right now, my homeboy, the best thing going.
Okay, well, he might be the most entertaining.
No, he's the best thing going.
He's like one-man globetrotter.
No, he's the best thing
He's
going
like
right now.
Meadowlark Lemon
No, he's
playing
the best-
quarterback,
Skip,
right?
Skip, he's the best thing going right now. You know that and I know that.
I do not know that because the name of the game is winning.
Yeah.
And nobody can win like that guy in Foxborough.
Oh, what's his record?
And if AB does stay eligible for the whole year, he's going to be right in the middle of this MVP race.
Yeah, and guess what? Cheetah coming back. Tyreek Hill coming back.
Okay.
So now you got 4 guys outside.
Okay.
3 guys that can
And-
run 4-3 and Travis
The
Kelce.
truth is, both Kansas City and New England play incredibly easy by NFL standards schedules. You can't tell me Kansas City's schedule isn't just about as easy as New England's.
What they got?
Okay, so they do have Baltimore this Sunday.
Yeah.
It's at home. Then they have Green Bay at home, and they have Minnesota at home. They can win those games.
Yeah.
And late in the year, very late, they have to go to Chicago on December 22nd. But the key game the game of probably two unbeaten teams, if I'm reading the tea leaves correctly, will occur on December the 8th in Foxborough. It's now scheduled for 4:25 kick Eastern time. And I think we're going to have undefeated Chiefs visiting undefeated Patriots.
Wow.
And not only will home field advantage be on the line for the postseason, but MVP, I think, will be up for grabs that night. And all I know is the quarterback you still give no credit to, somehow he outplayed my homeboy twice last year.
No, he didn't,
Yes,
Skip,
he
baby.
did.
Skip, look at the numbers. The numbers say
Did
otherwise.
you see the fourth quarter that he put on at Foxborough in that Sunday night game?
But did my homeboys have the game tied? Did he have that game?
Which game?
The game in Foxborough. And Tom Brady came back and got a game-winning field goal.
Yeah, he
okay,
did.
my homeboy had the lead when he left the field. Tom Brady went and tied the game in regulation and won it in overtime. How did he outplay him? Tom Brady threw 2 picks.
Yeah.
One in the end zone was horrible.
What Tom throw for in the fourth quarter alone, 130?
What did my homeboy do for the game?
Who won that game? Help me out.
See, you see what you did, Skip?
Well, that's what you always do to me.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No. I ain't saying nothing about no QBR. But when this notion that Tom Brady outplayed him, no, his team won. But just because your team win doesn't mean you outplayed the other guy.
Who won the AFC Championship game? Who took over the overtime and converted 3 straight 3rd and 10s? That is impossible.
Was my homeboy playing safety?
Should have been.
He had the lead. Hold up. When he left the field, because this is what you did. This is what you do to me when we talk about Tom Brady. When Tom Brady left the field against Eli the first time, you said they had a 14-10 lead. That's what you told me. When Tom Brady left the field the second time against Eli, they had the lead. That's what you told me. So what happened?
All I know is Tom Brady just keeps winning Super Bowls. So he's now 6 out of 9 Super Bowls that he's won. And this kid in Kansas City, he's got a chance.
My homeboy coming.
He's got a chance. And he's come nowhere. He's done nothing yet. Has he played in a Super Bowl? Hasn't he played in one?
mean, Skip,
and you're already crowning him the best quarterback
Skip,
in football?
it's only his 3rd year.
He can throw the best no-looks because Tom Brady would never even think about throwing a
The
no-look.
man just turned 24 and already got an MVP on his belt.
Okay, all right. And he's got how many trophies?
Skip, the man, this is only his 3rd year.
Okay, well, so?
Oh, because Brady won in his 2nd year. Anybody that didn't win the Super Bowl in his 2nd year, trash.
So, let's see. Who's 4th in QBR so far? Oh, it's Tom Brady. I'll give you this. My homeboy is 3rd in QBR.
Oh, okay.
Who's first? Dak Prescott, but we knew that.
Okay, who's first in yards?
Yeah.
Touchdown. Like you say,
Okay.
the wow factor,
He's got all that.
box office.
You know what he's got on his side? Andy Reid.
No. Oh, you got Kellen Moore.
Remember that quote in The Athletic about Andy Reid? He's got that guy, what was that guy's name who played for him in Philly, thinking he's a Hall of Famer, right? Donovan.
That was dirty. That was a low blow, Skipper. You know it.
Well, okay, but there's some truth to it where Andy Reid went and found this kid and traded up to get this kid, so he's going to try to make him the MVP
Now you
every
see
year.
what this offense-
Can you go win a Super Bowl with this kid? I say no.
Now you're seeing what this offense could be when they had check down Alex in it, checking the ball down.
Okay.
He ain't trying to check it down. He's trying to throw them 60-yard bombs over your head.
Yep, and he's turned into a caricature. He's
No.
gonna throw him left-handed, behind his back, and no looks.
Who got more interceptions? Dak Prescott or my homeboy?
Dak's got 1.
Oh, how many my homeboy got?
Yeah, and it wasn't Dak's fault.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault.
The
He
receiver
threw it.
got 2 hands
He
on the
threw
ball.
it.
Yeah, okay.
Put it in the chest.
Okay.
Put it right between the 1 and the 8. It's a catch.
Sometimes you have to escape a rush, and he got a real furious pass rush.
That's how my homeboy threw that no look. He had to escape the rush
Yeah.
and give him that right there.
Okay. I give you this. He's far more entertaining, if that's what you want to watch.
Better.
He's got a flying circus. He's got Andy Reid,
He the best QB. He the best.
Andy Reid is the ringmaster in
Give
Kansas
me the best
City.
quarterback going right now.
Hurry,
Right now.
step right up and see
And
Patrick
this
Mahomes
week-
throw a no look.
In the first 3 weeks of the season,
like that,
he's
Shannon?
the best quarterback going right now. Hottest thing going. Look at my homeboy. Got that old suit dappled all up, paid.
We haven't had back-to-back MVPs since Peyton Manning in 08 and 09.
If anybody
Been a
could do it.
decade.
The truth
Been a
is,
decade.
he's all you got on this show.
What? What, my homeboy?
Yeah.
That's kind of harsh, Skip.
I got plenty.
Kind of
That's
right.
all he's
When
got?
it's all said and done, like you said, hold on. You just said we got a long way to go.
We do.
And you already celebrate like the Cowboys. Are the Cowboys in the NFC? What the confetti?
Not yet.
Anybody drop confetti down on the Cowboys for winning the NFC East?
Who likes my chances of winning 5 more cases of Diet Dew because the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs? And Shannon says no, they will not make the playoffs.
We'll see.
Yep.
Have they officially clinched the playoff spot right
You
now?
must go home and stick pins in your dogs
No,
to get them hurt,
no,
right?
no.
You got your
No.
X-Man, Xavier Woods doll. You stuck
We
it
don't
right
want
in his
that.
ankle. You got your Gallup
I don't
ball.
need that. I don't need that because
voodoo.
sooner or later, that old shooting star that you got, it got to come down sooner or later.
Okay.
You got a shooting star right now. He played good. I mean, he played.
He's out of his mind.
We
dude.
gotta say happy
50, but-
birthday to my homeboy. It is his birthday today.
Hey, happy birthday.
Is it really?
Patty Mahomes, 20.
Yeah.
And,
24.
and already got an MVP?
Yeah, he's a Virgo. No wonder I like this guy. I feel
Skip.
that makes all the sense in the world.
Dak go get an MVP?
He might.
He should. He's 26.
He's going to get multiple trophies.
We got a lot of
No,
football
you're
to
not.
play.
Lombardi.
A lot of
trophies.
football to play.
Yep.
We're gonna move on to
No.
some college football.
Yes,
Will
we
Nick
are.
Saban regret giving up on Jalen?
No, he already does.
Reggie
No, he doesn't.
Bush
Come on.
is
No, he
here.
doesn't. No,
Let's
he
get
doesn't.
his take, please, next.
No mercy.
So former teammates Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts continue to go toe-to-toe each week as the race for the Heisman heats up. Last weekend, Tua threw for nearly 450 yards and 5 touchdowns against South Carolina. Meanwhile, Jalen passed for just under 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, along with 150 yards and another touchdown on the ground. According to Fox Bet, Tua is now just a slight favorite to win the Heisman over the QB he replaced in Tuscaloosa.
Uh-huh.
We're now joined by Fox College football analyst Reggie Bush.
Oh,
good to
good
have
morning.
you.
Yeah, good to have you.
So,
Sorry.
will Nick Saban regret giving up on Jalen?
No, not at all. He's going to regret giving up on Jalen. Life is good in Alabama.
Real
You got the best team in college football.
Really?
You got the best quarterback in college football. You're guaranteed to make the playoffs, even with one loss. And I think even if Alabama lost 2 games, they still figure out a way to get them in the playoffs. And when Tua leaves, they're just going to replace him with another 5-star quarterback. So life was good in Alabama. I don't think Nick Saban has any reason to even worry about losing Jalen Hurts because his quarterback he has right now beat out Jalen Hurts for that starting spot. And so, to me, when I look at the big picture, because I do think Jalen Hurts has the best shot out of the 2 to win the Heisman Trophy because he played this situation perfectly. He went from having to face SEC defenses every week to facing Big 12 defenses every week, which everybody knows they don't really play a lot of defense in the Big 12. And so when I look at the big picture, he's going to continue to put up these kinds of numbers every week because there's not a single defense on that roster, on that schedule, that can stop them right now.
Boy, it looks like a Heisman winner to me.
Yeah.
Right?
With all that being said, look at my
Yeah.
guy. 12-0. 12 tubs and 0 picks.
Really?
And he, has yet to really play any significant time in the fourth quarter. No, he won't regret it. Skip, Jalen Hurts got beat out by let me tell you how much Coach Saban loved Jalen Hurts. Coach Saban replaced Jalen Hurts in the national championship game against Georgia.
Okay.
Tua comes back, leads them to a victory. Coach Saban loves Jalen Hurts so much that he puts the job up in the spring. Whoever wins it in the spring, that's going to be my starting quarterback. He beat him to a talk about, TT, I call him TT. TT beat him out again. So what was Jalen Hurts said? You know what? This is my last year. I want to go play because I can't beat him out. He just beat me out last spring. I'm not going to beat him out this spring. So what was he supposed to do? He goes to Oklahoma. Wish him well, Skip. It's the same thing. Can Alvin Kamara, Coach Saban mad at Alvin Kamara? Alvin Kamara wasn't going to beat out Derrick Henry. Couldn't beat out Yeldon. Couldn't beat out Drake. So his playing time was limited. He had got
It's a running back. We're talking about quarterback. Much more important.
My point is, if you can't beat a guy out and you don't want to sit the bench, let me go somewhere where I can play. He went to Oklahoma because Kyler Murray left.
Wait, you skipped a step. Who took over and won the SEC championship game and got Alabama to the playoffs last year? Oh, it was Jalen Hurts.
Okay, well, he should have stayed and said, Coach Saban, I'll stay if you put the job up in the spring again.
No.
And
he does not.
exactly. Because he knows what's going to
He'd
happen.
shown up as coach,
He
and
kn-
he knew where he was headed.
Yeah.
To a better coach, to Lincoln Riley. A much
How
better
good is Lincoln
offensive
Riley,
coach,
though?
I can give you that.
So, hold on, first of all,
Yeah.
you and I both know Lincoln Riley have a third of success that St. Nick has had. That's why he got 6 titles. How many of your guys got? He got all them Heisman, and how many college playoff wins he got?
3 straight Heisman trophies.
Hey, what do you got to have, like you tell me, what do you got to
Have a
show
good
for it?
ring.
What do you got to show for
That
it?
does have a good ring.
Yeah.
No one's ever done that. No school's ever had 3 straight. USC's done pretty well here and there, but not 3 straight. No.
At 3.
Nick Saban made a big mistake.
Stop it.
What Jalen Hurts is doing for the University of Oklahoma right now is extraordinary. This is a grown man running, and I'll give you Big 12 defenses. I'll even give you South Dakota. But it is extraordinary how he's taking over football games with his arm as well as his legs. We knew about the legs.
Yep.
This is a running back playing quarterback. This is a grown man. I could put that other word in the middle of it, grown, that's what he is.
Where you're going.
Amen. 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 This is pound for pound the strongest man in the OU weight room, because he can lift him some weight, and he can lift him some linebackers and DBs when it's time to. And I'll be the first to tell you, I don't love how he runs over people, but he just if it's
Not
a
at all.
DB, he's just going to run his tail over.
Yep.
Yeah.
And again, can you last doing that? Maybe in the Big 12 you can, but what he did at UCLA at the Rose Bowl, okay, UCLA's got
True.
athletes on defense. They have a
They
bunch
do?
of Southern California kids who fly to the
Been a
football.
tough couple
Yep. And all he did was something no Oklahoma player, and there have been a lot of really good Oklahoma offensive players, none has ever done what he did. He threw for 200 plus and ran for 100 plus in the first half. And the numbers he put up were at least equal. I know Tua had a big game at South Carolina because he threw for 444, but my guy totaled 439 running and throwing.
Well, that's all we do. We don't do. Hey, but let me ask you a question. If Jalen Hurts is doing that with the passer that he is, what would Tua do in the Big 12? If Tua was with Lincoln Riley, he'd go for 500 a game.
Wait a second. If Jalen Hurts had Jerry Jeudy and Ruggs, these are two first rounds.
He had them.
Okay.
They were there. That's Skip. He had them.
If he had them right now,
No.
Jerry Judy's going to be the first pick in the draft.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, Jalen Hurts had him, and he was throwing the ball in the first row in the championship game.
Well,
That's why he got replaced.
Maybe we should credit Lincoln Riley for this, because he's turned him into a really good thrower of the football. He looks really good to me. He looks NFL good to me.
Well, that's the thing about Lincoln Riley, because I love the fact that he's not saying, this is my system, I'm going to try to fit you into my system. He's calling plays for Jalen Hurts that showcase his skill set and what he does best, but also Jalen Hurts has CeeDee Lamb. He has great weapons over there that he's using, which is why he's continuing to put up these kinds of numbers week in and week out.
Okay.
But
there's no Jerry Jeudy, but
There's
CeeDee
no-
Lamb's, he's really good.
Oh, they got some
Real
receivers.
fast.
they got some receivers.
Yeah.
They got speed, a lot of
But
it.
every time I looked up, Tua was throwing a 5-yard pass that went 70 yards.
Hey, hold
Okay?
on. What is Coach Saban? Now, we know Coach Saban want to hand that ball off. He changed his offense and said, I got TT. Go on and throw that thing. Do what you do.
TT stands for trap.
No.
Pull it into the trap.
I know
Yeah.
Tub.
Oh, does
He about to throw for 500 on Southern Miss.
it? Is he
Oh,
really?
yeah, he'll throw 500 on Southern Miss.
Southern
You know,
Miss.
he does get knocked around. He gets beat up, and then sometimes he just kind of loses it. I saw him at the end of the year. He lost his confidence.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
I saw that.
All I saw is them put that thing on Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You kept telling me, oh, Kyle, he needs the fast little feet. But St. Nick said, with little legs. Get him.
I
Not what
told
was
you.
said.
Have you seen what Hollywood Brown's doing for Lamar right now in
Yes.
Baltimore?
Balling.
That's so good.
Balling.
This is the kid
We
that
did
couldn't
not
find a
have
team.
him for the national semifinal. He could not play.
Sure.
He was hurt. And God bless him, I'm knocking on wood for him. He came back and beat.
Yeah.
It was a tough, like
Oh,
one
yeah.
of
But
those
Skip,
Jones.
not only
fractures.
do we lose players, we lose 6, 7 coaches a year.
Yeah.
Decoy, Jeremy Pruitt.
that is true.
Look at the guy down in at Georgia, Smart. All these guys, the guy at Maryland. We lose coaches every year, and St. Nick's still standing. The only man that's coaching got a statue outside of the building he coach in. That's how good he is.
He got a statue?
Statue.
I
Well,
predict
bad.
October 1st is my over-under for Nick Saban blowing up over yet another media question. Hey, what about Jalen Hurts? Are you impressed?
Why you asking?
Yeah,
I
they're
want
gonna
to see
keep
when they
asking
play
him.
him. When they
are
play
gonna
him, they're
keep
going to end up
asking.
playing him.
All right, let's do that.
And-
I want to see
Do
that.
that. I want to
Good
see
DT
that.
go for 500.
I'm
DT
gonna
go
be
for
covering
500.
Oklahoma
My guys
in 2
might
weeks,
run for
Skip.
200.
Oh, y'all ain't running for me.
We'll be
Jose-
at Oklahoma in 2 weeks, so I'll find
Oh,
out. I'll get the latest on this
2
kid.
weeks? Who is that?
No, Texas Tech first
Oh,
before
okay,
Red River.
okay,
So
Oh,
I'll get
Texas
the latest
Tech.
on this.
Really?
Well, I can still get to know him.
Really, Texas Tech?
I'll do a little
Texas Tech ain't
research.
going to play no defense. They're not going to slow him down.
Well, we don't even talk about defense. That's another day. We got to move on. Reggie, Buddy, always good to have you with us. Thanks for joining us. Is Odell Beckham Jr. the best receiver in football? Skip and Shannon give their rankings next.
No mercy.
Well, Odell threw a party in his return to MetLife Stadium, breaking off an 89-yard touchdown and another one of his signature one-handed catches. OBJ finished with 6 catches for 161 yards, outgaining the Jets' entire receiving corps combined, who only had 125. So, Shannon, where does OBJ rank among NFL receivers right now?
Well, I would take Julio over him. I would take D-Hop over him. I would take Devontae Adams over him.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. For me, Skip, bigger bodies, same production, great run after catch, great catchability, less headache. That's, for me, that's always going to weigh heavily on whether or not I want this guy on my team. I don't want distractions.
Okay.
I want guys that are going to come, give me production every single week, and it's not a different issue. If it's not this, it's that. No, I don't want that. So for me, I'm taking Julio number 1. I'm taking DeAndre Hopkins number 2. I'm taking Devontae Adams number 3. And I'm probably going to take Mike Thomas.
Okay.
I would take A.J. Green had he not been hurt because I love A.J. Green.
I know.
He's another guy.
I didn't know what to do with him.
No problem whatsoever. Don't give you no problem. Just make plays. But he's been nicked and playing in where he's playing. So, but for me, I would tell you what I would do. I would take OBJ over Antonio Brown.
You would?
I would.
Boy, I wouldn't.
I can't.
But Antonio does practice hard, and when it's game time, he does play football. Like he's not. He did throw the Gatorade onto the field when he got mad at Ben for not looking at him.
But at least OBJ does come to practice, and he doesn't miss walkthroughs.
Yeah, you could argue. I just think he was trying to act his way out of Oakland to get to New England. But okay, so if we're just doing this in a vacuum, if we're having a combine of receivers, I'm going to go Julio, Odell. Just if we're just doing God-given, speed, hands, all of the above. But I'm with you. If I have to do it within the confines of a football team, I've got Odell 7th on my list because I got Julio number 1 because there's no diva in Julio.
No.
And he's still 6'3", 220 and runs 4.3, and I think the other night he ran 4.1, didn't he?
Yeah, he got out the gate on him on that one.
Oh, man.
So fast.
And I'm with you on D-Hop because he's extraordinary. He's not as fast or as big as Julio.
No.
Again, maybe you're talking me out of it, but I put AB 3rd just because I do respect. And when he took the field the other day, he just lit it up, man. And albeit against the high school team that Miami put out there, but still. Then Michael Thomas, all he does is produce, and I can't fault him for that. And then, I'm sorry, I'm putting my guy Amari at 5th on this list because Amari just gets
in front
open.
of Adams?
Yes.
I'm not surprised
He
by that.
changed life for the Dallas Cowboys. That's all he did. And he doesn't say a peep of a word. He won't even talk post-game but because he doesn't have much to say.
Yeah.
I mean, he does talk. But what I'm saying is he doesn't want any attention. He's unattention. He's not attention-starved. He's filled, he's got his fill. He's fine.
Yes.
So all he does is run precise, perfect routes and get open. And you want to talk about effortless deep speed, he's got it.
And for me, Skip, all these guys are great when they get the hands on the ball. But I also need you to be great when you don't have your hands on the ball.
All right.
When you don't catch the pass, when someone else is getting the shine.
All right.
And that's what concerns me, especially about OBJ and AB. These other guys, look, some guy, Calvin Ridley, had more touchdown reception last year than Julio.
Yep.
D-Hop has been going through quarterback after quarterback after.
He has.
How he's able to put up the numbers that he puts up with those
It's
quarterbacks.
a good point. I agree.
Never said a word.
Okay.
Now, Devontae is at an advantage because he has the most gifted throw in football
really?
that I've seen.
Yeah, he can throw it away. I give you that because he set the record for throwaway.
This is not about Aaron Rodgers.
Well, you brought him up.
I'm just saying that he played with a great quarterback.
Okay.
But for me, Skip, at the end of the day, like you said, take these guys in a vacuum. OBJ, talent is second to none.
Okay.
AB, quick, second to none. But I'm trying to build a team.
I got one other receiver I'm ranking above Odell at 7, and that's my number 6 receiver. He is the reigning Super Bowl MVP. He is second all-time in catches and yards in the postseason. His name is Julian Edelman, and I'll just take him as a receiver over Odell as far as productivity.
Skip.
Does he not show up and play his little tail off every Sunday? Does he not get open on 3rd and 10?
Skip.
Yep.
He's not even.
Yep.
He's not even the best wide receiver.
Oh,
That
okay.
belongs to the guy from Minnesota.
He's
Thielen.
pretty good, but I'll
He
take
better
this
than
guy.
Thielen?
I'll
Yeah,
take
is
this
Thielen
guy.
on this?
He better than Thielen?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Who's got rings to
Oh,
show?
so let me ask you
He's
a
got postseason productivity.
I'm
Who caught the
disappointed in
first
you.
big 3rd and 10 at Kansas City in
Disappointed.
overtime?
So let me ask you a question.
Edelman.
Skip, can you
You got to
imagine?
give him credit for what he
I'm
does.
saying, what would Thielen be if he had Tom Brady?
Okay.
With his
is
ability to run
Thielen
routes.
faster and bigger than Julian? Sure.
Yeah.
Is he quicker? Nope.
But see,
Sorry.
Thielen gets the nod because he one of them boy dogs. He play outside them numbers.
He does.
See, that's what the big boys play.
Yeah.
That's the big sandbox.
Yeah.
You know, you got the little, you got the kiddie pool, 3 feet, you got to have, and then you got the deep end.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, he out there in the deep
He's in
end.
the deep end?
Where them
Okay.
boys drag you down out there, boy, and drown you out there, Skip Bayless.
You know what? There's no better trash talker in this league than Julian Edelman.
Oh, he talk-
And I love that about him because he'll take nothing off nobody, whether he's playing in the sandbox or the kiddie pool.
Yeah.
You come and splash on him and see if you don't get splashed back.
Yeah, he's a little dirty too, Skip Bayless. You know
Okay,
that.
I do, and I love that about him.
Oh, you love that, huh?
He has to do that to survive.
No,
in
he don't
this
have to do
league.
that. It's
and
not
he
necessary.
thrives.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
I'm taking Julio and D-Hop and Adams.
So you've got Odell like down at 6 or 7?
I got Julio, D-Hop, Adams, Michael Thomas. Hey, I'm going to put AJ. I know AJ hurt, but I'm going to put him in there.
Okay. All right. Well, that's
there
a
you
lot of
go.
guys before you get to Odell and all
Could have
that
talked
he
about
is.
this all day, guys. But we have to move on because I actually have breaking news about Cam Newton. We will tell you next.
Oh.
No mercy.
More breaking news. Cam Newton reportedly aggravated a foot injury, and his status for the Panthers matchup against the Cardinals on Sunday is now up in the air. So, Shannon, how concerned should the Panthers be about Cam?
They should be very concerned, Skip, because he mentioned something, whether it was my foot or my shoulder. We can't make
He
it.
did acknowledge that after everybody else said he is 100% healthy.
Right. And Skip, maybe that had no bearing, but Cam just didn't look right the other night. Cam is a better football player
He
than
is.
what he showed the other night. So I knew something was wrong with Cam Newton. And if his left foot, that's the foot he plants on and spins it off of.
Yep.
So, they should be very, very concerned. And this is a winnable division now that Drew Brees is out of the mix for a little while.
And yet they played Thursday night, so they've had 10 days to get ready for Sunday at Kyler Murray.
Right.
And if he's still having issues and he's re-aggravated this,
Right.
this is a really bad sign.
Yes.
So is he just coming apart? Has he just taken too much punishment? Because you look at post MVP season 2015, starting 2016, he's now tied for 26th in winning percentage over the last three seasons. It's not good. And he's tied with Kirk Cousins. Wow. Tied for 26th.
Throw that in there, Skip?
Yeah,
Just a little
it's
added
terrible,
stat
but
comparison?
that's not good for either one of those
Yeah,
guys.
you see him and they examining his foot. He's just like,
know.
if it's not one thing, it's another.
It's another. That
It's
is
hard
correct.
to watch it. You just knew something was going on.
Yes.
And that's the hard part. Okay, that is it for us.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.